Hey, Crawlspacers, welcome to our yearly call-in show where you can be on the broadcast. I thought I'd have a few friends on to help me take live callers, so I called up Texas and said, George, let's talk to the people. We're men of the people, right? Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
All right, explain why you're ticked. Go ahead.
Oh no,
It's in your name.
yeah, it's in my name. Where's my damn Whataburger? I ordered a Whataburger through the app,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's just it's been a nightmare
How long you been waiting on this burger? You're hangry.
since like 6:20. It was
More
supposed to
than-
be here. It's supposed to be here 10 minutes ago,
Oh, don't make George hangry. You
and
wouldn't like him when he's angry.
it's not even out for delivery. It's still in the pickup in progress stage
Oh,
because
man.
driver Tyler can't get his shit together and get here.
Tyler, we're bad mouthing on the internet. Speaking of somebody we also bad mouth on the internet, I have no segue to JR, but JR, what's going on?
Well, I because I'm getting old, as people like to point out, I had to take a tip from President Biden and put my instructions, so I have you will sit down, it's right here. You will turn computer on. You will connect to SteamYard.
Stream.
You will wait to see Brad's face, and then you will say something friendly, hello, and carefully conceal your contempt. So,
does it have a list of the reporters that you can only of the only reporters that you can take questions from?
I haven't worked on that yet, but I can tell you who I'm not taking questions
from.
Oh,
he's getting his list.
He's
getting his list.
I'm not taking questions
twice.
From Tyson or Peter Palmer 13, Mike Murdoch, or Adam Winchell. And if I do get questions, I'll be very nasty and insult your parentage and your heritage.
All right. And where's the place where Abba's from?
Sweden.
Brad. Okay. Sweden. Hopefully we get somebody from Sweden tonight, like we did last time we did this.
I'm supposed to ask everybody if they like certain rock groups from their country. So okay,
that's true.
I like that JR's list has big, easy to read print. That seems that seems on that seems on target for JR.
Yeah, it's the Reader's Digest enlarged version for the sight and visually impaired.
So. Hey, viewers, if you want to be on in one of these little boxes with JR and George and myself, I warn you, you got to be on your A game.
It's not as exciting as it sounds.
If you look on the very bottom, it says crawlspacemail@gmail.com. Wow. Send an email to that, and I will reply to your email. I've got my email open right here on another window, and I will send you the link. You click on the link. It starts your webcam up, and you'll be in, and I'll add you one at a time. We're going to do one at a time. So you may be down in a little, we call it the green room, waiting to come on. But if you'd like to join us, crawlspacemail@gmail.com. Shoot us an email, and we will get you on there. Milo, thank you for the super chat right off the top, buddy. Thank you very much. You want to come on, Milo? Here, send me an email, and I will send you the link. Let's see. Milo says, hello, everyone. Thank you again, buddy. Let's see. Let's put the comments up on the screen. We got Mr. Comics 89. Hey, Crawlspace. Can't wait for the show. Ryan, what's going on, Ryan?
Hi, Ryan.
Trayvon, what's going on, sir? Matt, hello, Web Warriors. This will be fun, I'm sure. Anime Hunter, what's going on? Ryan says JR is ready to rock. Brenton Banner says, hey, everyone, good to catch George and JR live. Well, there's not many years left. No,
I was about to say, as opposed to catching us in the alternative way or something, like showing up at our funeral or something.
Toby Z says, time for some Bart Simpson phone pranks. Let's see. We have Sarah. Sarah has an amazing collection. I don't know if you guys saw it, but she did a great job a couple weeks ago, or maybe 2 weeks ago. Showed off her spider collection, which was amazing. Matthew says, I just got my stitcher removed on my palm. Graduated college and earned myself some decent change for the months. Terrificon. I'm glad your surgery went well, man. That doesn't sound fun. Ryan says, your beard is looking epic tonight, says Ryan. And Tevia says, we are live. I have an email. All right. Here comes the invite. We have an email from Mr. Comics is wanting to join us. It's not one of your enemies, JR.
No, it's not.
So here we go. I have sent our first email. Again, crawlspacemail@gmail.com, and you can be on with us boys and talk. Milo says George's beard is always on point. Gary and the Frozen says, hey, Brad, George, and JR. George, you remember last time we were all together and on live? It's been a few. It's been several months, I think.
It's been a good long while.
What do you think? April?
Maybe. Yeah.
March? April?
Maybe.
We have some questions in the chat too, so we can do some of those. Let's see. Matthew says, how's your summer been? It's been nice and relaxing. Too damn hot. How about you, JR? How's your summer been?
Strangely enough, it's not been too hot. But unfortunately, I've just been too lazy to make good use of it.
I'm cleaning the crawl space. I am selling stuff I don't want. I've got an auction up for a complete run of the Ultimates. I've got what else? Extraordinary X-Men I'm selling. Ms. Marvel from back in the day. What else am I selling? A bunch of X-Men. So, Sarah would like to be on. Sarah, I got your email. Let me send you the invite.
I've got an update on my Whataburger.
Oh, okay.
There's a new driver assigned.
Oh, Tyler quit mid-shift, huh?
Yeah, so that's a good sign. Like, we got a new driver, but my guess is they're going to bump it out even further back to probably closer to 8 at this point.
Milo says he doubts I'm going to get any sales on these eBay auctions. Man, if I get $1 a book, I'll be happy, which is still at a loss of what I paid for it. But what you going to do? We have 3 invites up. Here we go. Mr. Comics is the first one. His device is connecting. Slowly but surely.
It makes him sound like a cyborg.
Your device is connecting.
Does he look like Ray Fisher? We've never seen Mr. Comics. Maybe he does.
Yeah, we have. He's been on.
We have? Oh,
yeah,
he has?
on before.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh, I forgot.
Just got to allow your webcam and your microphone to connect.
Matthew, you had surgery. If you tell me about your surgery, you want me to tell you about my colonoscopy?
Thank God Mr. Comics arrived. JR doesn't have to tell us about his colonoscopy. My God.
Yeah, you're welcome.
What's going on, sir? How are you, buddy?
Doing good. Hard week, so I spent the day relaxing and all that. So
there you go. Love your shirt. I can only see the logo. What's on it?
It's
AF-15. Nice.
It's got a Spider-Man on it, Brad. Shocking.
Oh, shut up! What a burgerless.
Well, and not only that, he really is Mr. Comics. Look at all those comics, golly.
Yeah.
Oh, let's full screen you, Matt. Let's take a look. We've looked at your wall before. It's always incredible. I love it. Anything new on the wall that you just got?
I got back my Superman 75 that's signed by Brett Breeding as well as Dan Jurgens.
Cool.
Got my ASM 6 and 8 and 10 back from the graders as well. But
sweet.
Yeah, I have since last year I completed my collection. So I have
you have ASM 1 through 442?
1 to current.
Oh, 1 to current. Awesome.
1 to current. So yep, every single issue coming out. So
now, is the elusive one AF-15?
Yes and no. I have a single page.
Oh, you have 1 page of it.
It still counts. I can say I own it, and it's not.
You do own it. May I ask, what does a page cost these days?
Well, when I bought it, it was $350.
Wow!
Oof, wow!
And if I sold it today, it'd be over $1,000 I could get for it.
What? Who's buying a page though, man? Besides you, I mean.
And it's not even the one with Spider-Man on the page.
Oh, is it the backup story?
It's the Mummy when the guy disappears into.
Yeah, it's not even the Spider-Man story.
But on the label it says Amazing Fantasy 15, page 11. I think.
Well,
like that.
It counts, man. You have a piece of AF-15.
Yeah, my last book I got was Agent Venom, I guess. Flash's Agent Venom is a 9.8. It's the very last book I pulled in, which is funny because I completed my collection and then literally a week later I caught up to current on your guys' podcasts. So now I have to wait for him to come out.
Right. There you go. All right. Well, we got 5 people that have emailed me. We've got 1 in the waiting room. Britton is ready to go. So, Mr. Comics, what's your question? What do you want to ask us?
Well, the only question I could really think of over the week was to JR, and our pal Norman Osborn, the great man he is,
our hero.
When do you think he will flip his switch again and become the Norman that we're used to?
Oh God, I have absolutely no idea. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I'm going to tell you, to be honest, I'm always nervous. It's not like I don't really sit here and say, "Oh God, I can't wait till the Green Goblin comes back. I can't wait till Norman becomes a Green Goblin," because I've become so, kind of. I don't want to say protective of the character or whatever, but I'm just always worried about how someone is going to write him. Because, like, for example, I read some of those Dark Reigns, I just have, I said, God, that is not, like there's one with the Fantastic Four where like he charges in with a gun and, and it's like, no, that's poor writing. I mean, it's, there really aren't that many people who've nailed him, and Howard Mackey. Yes. Warren Ellis, even Bendis. But I mean, definitely, because I think I think they can't resist bringing him back every quarter, every 25 issues or so. So I think he'll be back by number 25. But I'm really not sitting on pins and needles waiting to see him.
Do you have any idea how it's would happen or how you would do it? Because it seems to me, as long as he's separated from his sins, he's not going to be that way again.
Well, the goblin or the Queen Goblin supposedly is out there looking for him. I don't know who wrote that little setup with her. It was in one of the Beyond issues that she was going to confront Norman. I don't know if Zeb Wells didn't write it. Maybe he's not going to follow up on it. But I would imagine that there's going to be a confrontation between, clone Ashley Kafka, who was stupidly killed off by Dan Slott, and I mean the real one was stupidly killed off, and with Norman. In fact, it may even be the 25th issue. We'll see him come, rootin' tootin' again in his glorious green and purple.
What do you guys think of the Hobgoblin tease? Looks like the Hobgoblin's coming back. There was a cover released of JRJR with Spidey holding the Hobgoblin mask, and then Spider-Man fighting the Hobgoblin on Norman's glider. The new suit that Spidey has that Norman built. What do you guys think of that?
I have not seen that.
Oh, well, it looks cool. It looks cool.
I'll take your word for it, but are the faces less expressive than they used to be? That's what JR's art seems to be these days.
Stop it. I love it. I love it.
Well, like I said before, the only thing about JR's art that I don't quite like is I'm not in love with the bald, flaky thing of Tombstone. I like his hair like he was before when he looked
the flat top.
Yeah, on the flat top. That's Tombstone. This guy looks like he was just out of a chemo treatment.
Yeah. I don't mind it. JR is not a huge ironically a JR fan.
No, I am a big JR fan. I just
you're just not digging it right now, huh?
Yeah. I like I said, when he was doing the during the Mackey era or whatever, even though I really and then when he was really good when Straczynski was writing, but I mean, again, like I said, I can't draw a straight line with a straight edge, so take my observations on art for what they're worth.
Yeah. And for our audience, Mr. Comics, tell us where you're from.
From Monte Vista, Colorado.
Colorado.
Southern. I fall into New Mexico.
Okay. And how long
are you a John Denver fan?
I've heard a few of his songs, but I'm going to say I'm in love with him, kind of a thing. I like his music. So.
Yeah. And how many years have you been visiting the Crawlspace? I'm going to ask everybody these questions so we can get a...
Now it's, I'd say, almost 18 months. So a year and a half. Okay. Like I said, literally, I found you guys months before you had your last anniversary podcast or show.
Oh, that's coming up next month. Coming up next month. Yeah, in August. Yeah. So. Any George questions? George, you like JRJR, don't you? You're not reading the current stuff, but you're a Romita Jr. fan, I think.
Yeah, I've always liked him.
Yeah, I have too. Yeah.
No, I mean the only thing I can think of off the top of my head was going like, I wish I knew or could I've always thought about doing like kind of trivia on my YouTube channel. And I'm like, I don't think I can do it like George can. I need to see if I can email him and go, hey, can I borrow your questions?
That's like cheating off your fellow classmate or the teacher.
It's not. Well, like was it a Navy or Marine said when visited my high school, it's only cheating if you get caught.
Well, and George, you spend months on it. Have you started for the November already?
Yeah, I always start after my birthday every year.
Wow.
And my birthday was July 3rd, so yeah, I'm already working.
That's
on it.
crazy, man. Yeah, every Thanksgiving we're thankful for George's hard work for that.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions, sir?
Just keep up the good work. Most of my favorite shows are, Goblin Ass and JR Strippin, Peter, and all that, and the doll.
Well, unfortunately, JR will not be stripping anymore. We had letters.
But I love these news podcasts and all that. I never laugh harder than when you guys talk about the news. When you're just like, I've had to stop several times at work because people look at me going like, this guy's crazy, because I'm barely laughing, holding onto the countertops.
That's awesome, man.
I got stopped at work for because I was in the zone. I got the little ear pod things, right, Brad? Have you seen these?
Yeah.
And I was listening to like Pandora, like some 70s music, and I felt a tap on my shoulder because I was like, I was getting there, right? Like I was zen. I was in it at, in the office. I have to go into the office now twice a week.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm there, and then I felt a tap on my shoulder, and it was one of my bosses saying, I like Tiny Dancer too, but maybe we don't sing it out loud. Yeah. I was like, oops, sorry.
Oh, that's funny.
So one final question for you,
yes,
Brad.
Sir.
Since you're so connected more than I am, do you have any idea when number 6 is supposed to come out? I just got.
I emailed the dude. His name's Bruce. He's the editor of that. I emailed him, I think, in 2020, and there was no plans, or maybe early 2021 about the newspaper strip. And the next volume has the wedding.
Yes.
So I tell you what, if you go on Amazon or eBay, volume 1 and 2 are what, $300-$400 books of the newspaper strips. They are so expensive. So. Yeah. Hopefully, I'll shoot Bruce an email. I'd like to get an update too.
Yeah, because I'm the wedding and the Mayday exists kind of Spider fan and all that. So it's like I want that. I have a wife, I have a kid, so I relate to Peter in that regard. So it's like,
and that was the volume where it started, where he was married. So yeah.
Yep.
Crazy. I will send him an email. I'll put an update on the Crawlspace once I find out.
Cool. So. Well, good luck with the rest of the show, guys.
All right, man. Thanks for watching so often and interacting with us. We appreciate it.
No problem. See you guys
later.
Man.
Have a good one. All right. That was nice. Again, if you would like to be on the show, crawlspacemail@gmail.com. Shoot us an email, and I will reply with a link where you click on it, and you can join us now. So far, I've got at least 7 emails of people wanting to get on. The next one we have is Brenton. What's going on, Brenton? How are you, buddy?
How's it going?
I love the setup behind you. I'm going to full screen you to check out your setup. You got a 252. You got a nice symbiote Spider-Man statue back there. You got Secret Wars number 8, not the issue where he kicked all the X-Men ass, but he got a new costume. And you also like the Hulk, so we are instant friends, my buddy.
That's excellent. Yes, definitely.
And so which one of us is going to go for the obvious reference to his last name being Banner?
Oh, yeah. How does Hulk and Spider-Man rank as your favorite? Who's number 1?
I think I'm the opposite of you. I think I'd put Hulk number 1.
I'll give you that.
Spider-Man 2.
It's easy to do. I'll give you that. However, what do you think of the current Hulk issues? My God, I hate them.
Really?
I hate them with a passion. Worst Hulk in 60 years, in my opinion.
I'm slightly entertained. I'm curious to see where it goes. I was kind of enjoying the Hulk versus Thor fight. So.
I don't mind a Hulk versus Thor fight, but Bruce Banner on the set of the Enterprise brain inside the Hulk, I'm like, what in the... More power, Scotty. Let's piss the Hulk off for more power. I don't get it.
Definitely.
I don't get it. But where are you calling from again?
Central Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania. Cool. How'd you discover the Crawlspace?
Oh, I found the podcast maybe around 2013.
Oh, wow. Nearly 10 years, man. That's crazy.
So been listening a long time. I have to say, kudos to George. My favorite thing is Spider Jeopardy.
Oh,
I look forward to that.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
And did you just hear he's working on the questions? He's started for the November
I heard.
broadcast. And
that's exciting.
He needs
the day that ends, I will be crushed. So you're never allowed to stop.
Well, fortunately, that's only once a year, and it's something I do over a good long while. So you're safe on that one.
It's not a monthly commitment like the satellites used to be for him and the Fight Club, etc. So
yeah.
And it's nothing that requires him to read the current run, right, George? I mean, you've got enough. You've got enough material. You don't have to get into the current run.
Exactly.
And let's before we get to Brenton's question, where's the burger? Where is your Whataburger? Do you have an update?
It is now out for delivery.
My man.
We have gotten past the pickup in progress, and it is still slated for arrival between 7:18 and 7:28. So they've got 7 minutes to get it here, and I bet it's going to be cold.
Oh, you should take a bite right when the man's standing in your doorway.
I mean, you guys are going to see me eat it.
Yeah,
at this point, I hadn't planned it that way, but unfortunately, Whataburger had different plans. So.
No doubt. Real quick, Milo, I did not get your email. So again, it's crawlspacemail@gmail.com. I've got my email open here, and I don't have anything from you. So, all right, Brenton, what do you got for us? What do you want to ask?
All right, this is a two-parter for George.
Okay.
I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting everybody just to throw everything at JR.
No. Will you ever read current Spider-Man again? And the second part is, do you think you'll enjoy it?
No, and not applicable since I'm not going to. I've ended the cycle of violence. Marvel has shown me as a reader that they don't really care about stories. They just care about, stringing us along for more money and to get us to throw down money for variant covers like suckers, which some people are still doing. And I've walked away from that. I've said no more. So I don't know. It would take a lot to get me back as a reader. Marvel worked hard to earn my distrust and my animosity. So I think I'm good with that. I think I'm fine with just having walked away. I've still got memories of Spider-Man when it didn't suck. So
when was the last time it didn't suck? JMS for you?
No, I enjoyed a lot of Nick Spencer's run up until the end when editorial changed everything. But yeah, I don't see me coming back to the abuse. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't blame
Brenton,
you.
are you reading it? Are you liking it?
Let's see. I tried to read Beyond and then I quit. And then I jumped
I understand that.
At number 1, and it took me like 3 tries to get through that.
Yeah.
And then I don't know why I bought 2 through 5, but they just sit there now. So I think I'm.
Oh, you mean you read issue 1 of Zeb Wells' current run?
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then I was like, okay, maybe I'll just keep going. And then I lost the steam when they arrived in the mail.
Yeah. Well, I like them a lot. I've given them A's on the show. JR strongly disagrees with me. George could give 2 craps.
Not my problem anymore.
No, he's walked away from the abuse. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of right there too. So
it's too bad. I mean, have you ever quit Spider-Man? I think I'm addicted. I have not quit in 40 years. That's my problem.
No, your problem is you'll buy any goddamn thing, Brad.
Well, George, the day I stopped buying Amazing is when I quit the damn hobby. Honestly. Like, that's my last one. I'll turn the lights off when I do that. Like, I started a damn website, man. I can't stop Amazing. I'm an addict. I'm in this. I'm committed.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean you have to buy every damn Carnage book that comes out, and you do.
No, the Carnage book is pretty good. No,
you buy all the ancillary things.
George has given me a hard time that I bought all 5 issues of Savage Spider-Man, and he has a justifiable right to make fun of me because those are crappy books.
As soon as I saw somebody mention it, then and say it was Justin, and Justin said, "Who would even buy this?" Immediately in my head, I'm like, Brad Douglas. Yep. and that's why I tagged you and was like, "Hey, Brad, you buying this?" Yeah, there you go. Question asked, question answered.
I have to say the only Spider title I'm actually enjoying is the Lethal Protector mini that David Michelini's doing.
I haven't read any of that yet. That's still on my to read list. Gary and the Frozen, who is also going to be joining us in just a minute. He sent me an email. He says, Brad's like me. He's optimistic when it comes to Spidey. I am. During the lows of Dan Slott, I'm like, you know what? We're going to outlast the guy. Little did I know he'd come back.
Well, I recommend you dive into that.
I saw that on the Discord today. What is he doing? Is he doing more Spider-Verse crap?
He's doing an ongoing adjectiveless Spider-Man again, like McFarlane's adjectiveless. Him and Mark Bagley together are doing that. So that's not going to get you to go out to your comic shop, huh?
Brad.
Mr. Comics, who was just on, says, I agree with Brad. The day I stop buying is the day I walk out away from the collection. Michael says, no more room for optimism. Tevia, is actually on next, says, Zeb Wells' Spider-Man run is so bad. Well, to each his own. All right, Britton, any other questions? We got 3 in the waiting room to join us. You can ask another one, though. Go ahead.
No, I'm good.
You're good, man?
I don't want to take up time. Just keep doing what you're doing. I really enjoy the podcast after all these years.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Appreciate it. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
Good seeing you.
Bye. Okay, again, if you would like to join the show, send an email to crawlspacemail@gmail.com. There was a question if you can be on your phone. Yes, you can be on your phone. Just click it, the link that I send you in your email, and it's recommended that you have Google Chrome. That's the easiest, as opposed to Safari or any other type of browser.
We got 1 minute till the 7:28.
Okay, till your burger is here. We have Tevia. Tevia, what's going on, man? How are you, buddy?
Never worry. I don't want to answer the boy in the show, but it's good to see you guys.
Thanks, man. Where are you calling from again?
I'm calling from North Carolina, Charlotte. I'm currently in
Charlotte, North Carolina. How long you been visiting the Crawlspace? Refresh us.
I thought I've been called from 2016, I think. God,
2016.
Yeah, okay, cool. So many years.
By the way, good job on picking out the microphone. I think you got the blue color like I do. We have the exact same microphone. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's your question, buddy?
Yeah, I had my email. I said, I wrote a question on Mary Jane's situation going on with the Moira X stuff, which I got the hell about Dawn stuff. What the hell have they done? I don't know what they're doing with Mary Jane and what we do. But first they have the kids that why didn't Mary Parker? Why? I want to do it in my emails. I got my wish, but not the wish I wanted.
Here, let me get one question at a time. What the hell are they doing with Mary Jane and Moira? The other two fellows on this show have no idea, but I do. The book that came out this week is called The Hellfire Club.
I read that.
Or Gala. It's a big dance for the X-Men. Moira has taken Mary Jane and is using her body to infiltrate the party. Spider-Man is there and tries to get a chokehold that's on her that's going to kill her. And to be continued in the regular Amazing Spider-Man book. That's the latest.
Keep buying.
Keep buying. To answer your question, Tevia, who the hell knows? I have given up on the X-Men after 30 years. I don't like them on an island. They're not Gilligan's mutants. I'm good, man.
When Hickman wrote X-Men, it was amazing. It's fantastic. Hickman was left, but then it went to hell when Hickman left. No,
when Hickman left, I gave up, and it almost tricked me. Here you go, George. You will be happy. I did not buy that book. I resisted. I am not buying any X-Men. I have given up. I'm done. So, okay, what was your question about Spider-Girl? I missed it. The trade?
Oh, yeah. I did a Spider trade. I did by Volume 4.
Yes. And, that just came out, I think, didn't it?
Yes. Volume 3 came out, I think, 2 months ago. I think Volume 4 came out the last month. I do own Volume 4 upstairs.
Sweet. Yep.
But, question. Would the Elkin spot again at the event coming out? Actually, not spot again. The end of Spider-Verse. With that thing coming out, do you believe Thanos will kill all the spider people at the end of the?
Oh, hell no. Event? Hell no, they're not going to kill all the spider people. Dan Slott was not going to kill all the spider people. If more, he'll add to them so he gets royalties.
I'm going to survive, but she's doing Kelly Love at the end. That's better than my life.
I think, as Kelly has said on a previous show, we all hope that Dan Slott does not touch Spider-Girl. We saw what happened last time. So to answer your question, no, I don't think they're going to kill all the Spider-Verse people. When they put it in the solicits where that's the end of the Spider-Verse, my ass. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
The one character that may die
the only one that I think has died is Spider-Man UK, and I got a press release the other day. They're replacing her with a female that's evil. That's the only change. So
wait,
yeah.
What? Wait. You mean that's why you giving that new lawn preview? I read the article. I'm kind of confused about that. So she evil? Why?
Oh, yeah. I think she's evil. Oh, George's Burger's here.
George's Burger's there.
George's doorbell has rung. The Whataburger.
Yeah.
We shall watch him watch it. Or watch him eat it. Yeah.
But anyway, as far as the end of Spider-Man, there's one character I think that may die that got gay Spider-Man, which I know that's not controversial thing is more doing now. They named a new character gay Spider-Man penalty. I think either he gets killed off, with it more know that a lot of that didn't ever happen, or he may survive and may survive to another controversial book.
Are you going to buy the new miniseries by Dan?
No, I'm not looking forward to that as Spider-Man miniseries because I embarrassed my head. Also, I don't give a damn about that gay Spider-Man character, like whatever he is. I put the main book, the Dan Slott book. I tried giving Dan Slott a chance, but I've been burned so many times of his nonsense. It just breaks me.
We've got third-degree slots. Yeah.
Indeed. Which is sad because when Slott something good, you're good, but when you're saying bad, it's infuriating. I don't know what's going on with Spider-Man anymore. We don't. First Spider-Man Beyond happened, it was like not a bad story. I was Benoit.
Yeah.
Oh, there's one more question.
Okay, last question because we got 3 others waiting to come in. So go ahead.
Oh yeah. I just put up the stuff. Okay, final question. What's the man on the Benoit Spider-Man stuff? Do you think Benoit is going to be saved, or to be so far gone to when that he could be like, dead? Like who
can be saved? What were you saying?
Do you believe Benoit can be saved? Do you believe there's some way? Some of Benoit can be saved, or that should be sealed?
Here, let JR answer that one. JR, do you think Ben Reilly can be saved?
Are we talking about saved as a character? In other words, if that's what we're talking about, then no. I mean, it's he's been, why? Not only did they bring that character back. I mean, the thing is, in comics, you got to realize nobody stays dead. I mean, he should have been done when he was turned into flour at the end of Spider-Man 75. But then to bring him back is like the 28th installation or 28th version of the Jackal's, current cloning, and then turning him into a bad guy. And then it just I mean, really, they have ruined him. They have really ruined that character. There is, I don't see any
clone fans have said he's ruined. So Well, Tevye, I appreciate you calling in, man.
Man.
And you have a good night, all right, buddy?
You too. Thank you for joining the panel. See you guys.
No problem, buddy. Okay, we have to check in with the burger. Is the burger cold, George?
The fries are, so that means the burger is, yeah.
Oh, that sucks, man.
And let me just say this real quick to everyone watching. If you're a Texan, you know how great Whataburger is.
Yeah.
You do. But don't use the app. Don't use the app. The app's a failure. And the Louisville Whataburger, which is the one that's closest to me, sucks ass. You hear that, Whataburger?
There goes our sponsorship by the Texas business of Whataburger.
That's funny because I do a lot of ordering out, but I never have it delivered. I always go and get it, and that aggravates my wife, relentlessly. But then again, what doesn't? But I know I always get it. I will not have it delivered. I just won't. I mean, it's just, I just don't trust it. I mean, to get there, hot or whatever, and
So. All right, we got another one. We have Tim. What's going on, Tim? You said in your email, greetings from Australia, huh?
Yep, Melbourne, the land down under. It's about 10:30 in the morning here.
Just got back from a run. And you have a Spider comic sitting behind you. What issue is that? What is it?
67 with Mysterio.
Ooh, that's a classic cover.
Oh, hey, do you like Kylie Minogue?
As a person, yes. As a musician, not so much.
Do you like Mel Gibson and Hugh Jackman?
Hugh Jackman is absolutely awesome. He's fantastic. I love him as an actor. I love him as a person. Mel Gibson is a great actor, and I think he's a bit of a dropkick.
do you like Olivia Newton-John?
Oh yeah.
Well, she was playing a high schooler at like the age of 35, so that always sat a bit weird with me.
That was my first crush in life.
She's beautiful.
Mine was the Bengals.
Princess Leia and Daisy Duke for me. That was my crush. Tim, how long you been listening to the Crawlspace?
Well, I actually was first introduced through JR's Spider Kicks Butt page. I started reading that, I think it was 2001.
Oh, wow.
And it actually prompted me to start getting Spider-Man again after a gap. So I've been pretty much got every issue since 2000 now.
Oh, wow. 22 years.
I am honored.
22 years. That's crazy. Are you reading the current stuff, Tim?
Yeah, look, I mean, I think the 2 series I'll read till the end of Spider-Man, and because I'm in the lore, I read Daredevil. I've got every issue of that for the last 25 years as well. So they're my 2 sort of diehard series. Yeah, but I've dropped a lot of the other stuff.
If you drop those 2, you're done in comics, huh? Yeah,
exactly.
I'm with you. Daredevil's good, man. I'm loving Daredevil. George isn't a big Zdarsky fan, but when he writes Daredevil, and Mark Cicchetto on art, beautiful stuff on that book.
Well, when you look back, I mean, the amount of writers who are now generally accepted as being classic who've worked on it. You've got Brubaker, you've got Bendis, you've got Wade. I mean, it's just a murderer's row of top talent. It's been very lucky since it got resuscitated by Miller in the 80s.
Yep.
I thought Zdarsky was writing Batman.
He is. He's writing.
He's doing Batman and Daredevil at the same time. Yeah.
Same time. That's a big get, isn't it?
It's like the old days when you had the guys writing top titles for both companies.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, Tim, I had to show George my running T-shirt too. There
let me pull it up. Is that an AF-15?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, nice.
Very cool.
You're
the second caller with an AF-15 T-shirt on tonight. Mr. Comics had one on.
Sorry, Brad.
Oh, I said that the very first caller, Mr. Comics, had on Amazing Fantasy 15 shirt on tonight too. Your second one. So there you go.
Before I get my questions, I just was going to say I bought this on discount yesterday, and.
Oh yeah.
Days of Future Past is 2 issues, 44 pages, and it tells an entire story in 2 timelines and has a massive recap of everything that's happened. And nowadays it takes 2 issues for the character to get up from their desk and go to the window. And the difference was just mind-blowing. Rereading that and just saying how much they fit in to that amount of time is just incredible.
Well, they weren't writing for the trade back then. They thought each issue they could be canceled if they don't do a good book. They aren't going to collect them into 5 to 10 to 15 in a trade paperback. So
Days of Futures Past today would take 100 issues.
Oh yeah,
with 87 different ancillary titles that were like all 5 issues that had nothing to do with the main story.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they'd have a Kitty Pryde mini, they'd have a Wolverine mini, they'd have a Resurrex mini, they'd have a Mystique mini.
Yeah. They'd have a mini of the dude that put the one ads on the wall of everybody's face behind them on the cover.
Wolverine, Edge of Days of Futures Past.
Yeah, and I just had to mention this. It's not Spider-Man, but can you see Mystique in the middle there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like when she goes back to Mystique, she goes up 5 bra sizes.
Well, if you can shapeshift, you know.
Well,
why not?
Why not?
Well, this took a turn.
But I actually took notes on questions because it might be my only chance.
Man, good job.
Yeah.
Hit us with them.
So JR, obviously have reread your Mary Jane series a number of times.
Oh.
If for whatever reason they had to send her to Florida or something for like a year, is there another female character that you'd be interested in Spider-Man being with just as for a year of story time? Obviously not permanently, but would make an interesting storyline.
Yeah. JR, who would you like to see Peter Parker fool around on Mary Jane with? To be honest, over the years, I should say Carly Cooper just to see if the hackles.
He's already got a cold burger. He's got a cold burger. Don't hit the man. I mean,
I really think only Felicia, to be honest, because I liked Felicia as a character until Al Milgrom You know, when in Spectacular there at the end, they turned her into complete ditz and goof, and of course Dan Slott made her a crime lord. But I think we're going to get into. I forget if it was number 4, number 5, but anyway, where Peter was all beat up, and I think he was sneaking into this skylight, and Felicia was,
That's issue 5.
I kind of like that. I mean, Felicia. I mean,
the art on that was fantastic. The art on that was amazing.
Felicia, I just really kind of think it's a. I really like Felicia as a character. Maybe not the way so much how she's written sometimes, but I just like the dynamic because she still loves Peter, but she knows she can never have him. She knows that her lifestyle will always be between them. She knows Mary Jane will always be between them, but she still loves him. And there's just that, that ache she has, because we've all had that ache of unrequited love, and I like the, and to be honest, if Peter left a quote unquote normal woman, I think he would, Felicia is someone who can take care of herself, who probably can take care of him, I guess, as we saw in that Mary Jane Black Cat mini or one shot. Right. So, I think hands down it's Felicia.
Yeah, I'll second that. George, you agree with Felicia?
Yeah, but I also agree with JR. Romance between the two that's not going to work anymore. But they work better as like when they're friends / partners. They do. That's how they're most effectively used. But yeah, I think that's the only one that fans would actually accept. Because no one gives two shits about Carly Cooper. Let's put all the cards on the table. No one cares about that character. The character.
She needs to be the victim in a murder mystery.
She does.
The best use of Carly
she
Cooper.
does. Yeah, she does. So I think Felicia would be the only one that people would actually accept in that case.
Yeah. What if there was a female? What if there was a female Osborn, like a long lost Osborn relative that came in and started hitting the moves on Peter?
Ugh, that's gross.
With cornrows.
Yeah, they botched the. I like I said, I always did, well, of course, not as a romantic partner, but I always thought that the Sarah character had possibilities. I really did.
Yeah.
But no, I don't want any more. I don't want any more Osborn showing up, just like I don't want any more adopted siblings of Mr. Spock showing up.
Yeah. Or Emily Osborn, the mom or the wife.
Oh, yeah. You notice how that's just kind of like been forgotten. I don't think anybody, no one's even, that can just stay forgotten.
Yeah. All right. What else you got, Tim?
No. Well, should I wait for George? He looks like he's enjoying himself.
No, please don't wait for me. Just
okay. Well, what I had, George, is not counting the sort of the Lee Ditko stuff. Is there a period of say 20 issues that you reckon Amazing Spider-Man was just firing on all cylinders? Was just the peak of the entire history of the book?
It was probably when Roger Stern took it over in the 80s.
The Hobgoblin stuff.
Introducing the Hobgoblin and all that stuff. That was when, for me, that was when Spider-Man was kind of at its peak. And everything since then has just been, steadily going downhill.
It followed with an amazing DeFalco and Friends following up Stern and Romita Jr. I mean, I think that was just as strong, in my opinion. I love the Fire Lord stuff, etc. But yeah, I'd agree.
There's no argument there. I mean, there's some other period I've always liked the post-clone period when I thought 3 of the 4 titles were doing really well. But you'll have absolutely no argument from me on anybody who says Stern's run was since the Lee Ditko.
I like Conway's too. I'm a big fan of Conway and Ross Andrew.
Yeah, I almost kind of see Jerry Conway's run as. I kind of almost see that as an extension of Stan Lee's run, to be absolutely honest. And to a lesser extent, Len Wayne, maybe, well, not quite Marv, but it's just, to me, that's when because I think Conway kept building on the mythology, I mean, he introduced the Punisher. Well, obviously the death of Gwen and Peter and Mary Jane falling in love, and the original Clone Saga, which was actually good and interesting. So I almost see. So it's like I almost see Conway as an extension of Lee Ditko, because, like I said, the way he kept building the mythology of the character, and then kind of everybody else is kind of just I mean, there have been some that have been better to the worse, like Roger Stern was really good. But I almost see the rest of them after that as not really adding to the mythology, but playing with the toys in the same sales in the toy box. So
something I think gets underrated about Conway is he was literally the same age as Spider-Man was meant to be. So you went from Stan Lee, who was great, of course, but trying to write teenage dialogue was pretty clunky sometimes.
Yeah.
And then you had Conway, who was friends with people who were that age, and he was talking with people that age, and I think it really showed.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Yep.
All right, Brad, last one.
Yes, sir.
If you could editorially pick Spider-Man to be confronted with a Marvel Universe villain who wasn't a regular Spider-Man villain, what do you think would be the most interesting story? Leaving aside Acts of Vengeance, which was a bit clunky. We know about that. What
villain that's not Spider-Man related could he fight? Well, it worked. One of my favorites is Juggernaut, but that's been done. Who do we got? Who do we got? We got Magneto. We got Dr. Doom, but he's out of his league. Galactus is out of his league.
he's already fought Dr. Doom.
Wasn't that in a JMS book where Dr. Doom was at the airport?
Issue 5 was Lee and Ditko was Dr. Doom.
Oh yeah, no.
And
the one you're thinking of, Tim, was he actually kind of saved Dr. Doom in that episode. Dr. Doom was getting attacked. Episode in that issue.
Yeah,
it was when he was getting back with Mary Jane and Cap.
It's at the airport.
Yeah. Sorry, I interrupted you, Brad.
Has he ever fought the Abomination? Yeah, he did with She-Hulk in an annual.
Atlantis Attacks.
Atlantis Attacks, which was awful. He's fought Magneto, but he had the power cosmic with the Eric Larson stuff.
He fought Magneto in Secret Wars. It lasted one panel.
Has he ever fought Mystique? That's kind of like fighting Chameleon, though, isn't it? Kind of similar deal.
Well, instead of the Chameleon pretending to be Peter, you could have Mystique pretending to be Mary Jane. That could be interesting.
Oh yeah, that would work. Okay, my answer is Mystique. I can't think of any others that are level to him in a power class. If I go Galactus, he's going to squish him. JR, George, you got an answer for that? Who would he fight in the Marvel Universe?
No, I can't think of one.
Is there a Daredevil character? Because they're similar characters. He's fought
Kingpin
Bullseye.
was a Spider-Man character, and then he became a
Kingpin. Yeah, he's fought Bullseye.
I remember when Bullseye fought Spider-Man and Dan Slott's run, and Dan Slott was selling it like, "Oh, you'll finally get to see this," and we're like, "We actually just saw this and the run right before you."
Mr. Comics says Titania, but he did that maybe in Secret Wars.
Oh yeah, Secret Wars #7. He kicked her ass.
And when they came back after Secret Wars at the airport with her boyfriend, Absorbing Man, written by DeFalco and penciled by Friends, 283, I think, is what that issue number is.
He kicked her ass so bad she developed a fear of him the same way Dr. Octopus did.
Yep, that's right. That's right. George, you got one?
Oh, sorry.
I just said Bullseye.
Oh, yeah, but he's fought Bullseye.
Yeah, I pointed that out too.
Yeah. Sorry, I was multitasking. I was replying to emails and all that stuff. You know, the thing, Tim, the character had Marvel Team Up, and he's fought practically everybody in the Marvel Universe. It's hard to pick one that he's not. Do you have one, Tim?
Well, I always thought Mystique, to be honest, and I didn't want.
Are you serious? That's hysterical.
Yeah, because I was thinking, and I said it before, that you've got this chameleon thing where he's pretending to be the different men in Mary Jane's life. They've done that, so you'd be the reverse of that. She could pretend to be Betty Brant. She could pretend to be Mary Jane. Yeah. And I mean, it doesn't even have to be tacky and sexual. It could just be, he inadvertently reveals a secret or something like that. I think there's a lot of potential there.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, Tim. Anything else? Yeah, man.
Just very quickly, I want to particularly, obviously I've read JR for 20 years. I appreciate that, but also I appreciate George because I disagree with him a lot, but he always makes me think about why I disagree, which I think is really important.
Oh, that's a really nice compliment. That's awesome.
I always back my work up.
Show your work.
My opinions out. Yeah, like the Credible Hulk, like Mark Alford says.
Yes.
Incredible. I won't say something just sucks. I'll actually give you reasons why I think that. And hopefully, people understand where I'm coming from.
Cool. I could talk all day, but I know there's other people, and I really appreciate you putting yourselves out there. I'm just glad
you're awesome, Tim. Thanks, man. Talk to you later, buddy.
Take care.
All right. All right, that was nice. If you would like to be on, just like Tim, you can.
Connection coming from Australia.
I know, that's awesome.
Crikey.
Send an email to crawlspacemail@gmail.com and I will send you a link and you can be on the show. So
confirmed, by the way, cold hamburger.
Cold hamburger. That they were actually asking in chat if your burger was cold, and we can confirm your burger's cold. All right, we got Tyler, aka Gary, and the Frozen in the house. Is he on the list, JR?
I'm on the good list.
Okay.
Yeah. That's Tyson. You're confusing him.
Tyson, not Tyler. Got it. All right, Tyler, where are you calling from, buddy?
Southwest Virginia. I was on the anniversary show last year. I don't know if you guys.
I do.
Awesome.
And how many years you been listening to the Crawlspace or visiting the site?
2020. 2020. So yeah, during the pandemic, I found you guys.
You found us during COVID. There you go.
Yeah.
All right. So what's your question?
Well, Brad, I actually emailed you a couple days ago. I would love to see your commissions that you've gotten done by Spider-Man artists in the past.
Oh,
I don't know that or not.
Let's see if I can do that live. Hold on.
Oh, well, just after the podcast you can, or just whenever you have some free time.
I've got, let's see, how can I do that?
Because I really was inspired by your Alex Savick commission that he did for you, the Upside Down Kiss.
Yes.
And
I have two commissions. One's by Savick, one's by Bagley.
Oh, nice.
And they're both Upside Down Kisses.
Oh.
So
the Bagley
here,
one, sure.
Hold on. Let me see. I bet you I can, let's see here.
But I actually reached out to Alex, and he's going to be doing me one. So,
yeah,
he's not the Upside Down Kiss, but he's just going to be doing me a commission. He's a really cool guy.
Picture of it. Okay, hold on. It's right behind me.
Right.
And I'm going to email it to myself, and then I can pop it up. But yeah, I met Mark Bagley at the Tulsa Comic-Con, and I met Alex Savick at the Chicago
yeah,
got a commission from both of them
with him.
Yeah, very nice dudes, all of them. So,
oh yeah, definitely.
You got any other questions for us while I send this email to myself?
Yeah, I'd like to know your top 5 Spider-Man villains, but I don't want to make it too easy on you. So no goblins and no symbiotes allowed.
There you go, JR. You go first.
Oh, well, you kind of made it. You would have made it even harder if you had eliminated Doc Ock. So since you left, I have to include Doc Ock. Oh, Mysterio. I've always liked Mysterio.
Mm-hmm.
It's really hard to go wrong with any of the Lee Ditko villains. Boy, I'm just trying to. That's such a good question, and one that I actually would have to think about. If you couldn't do the goblins, or if you couldn't do the big 3, and like I say, but it's hard not to like. You keep coming back to the Lee Ditko run. To be honest, I mean, you just do. I mean, it's I want to say the Vulture because he's just a cranky. He's a cranky. But besides the fact that I'm getting closer to the Vulture's age all the time, I just kind of like the way that he's not a. He's a cranky old man. So
that's how you can relate. Yeah.
Yeah. So I kind of relate that.
Talking about the Roger Stern run earlier, Roger Stern wrote a really good Vulture. He did really good. I think I read somewhere that was one of his favorites.
Well, you know what? I can't think of any, but it's a good question. I'll have to actually think about that and have a better answer next time.
Here, Tyler. Here's the commission right there. It says Bagley to Brad and the Spider-Man Crawlspace right there.
That's beautiful, man.
Isn't that cool?
Love it.
Love it. It's one of my favorites.
Oh yeah.
So, all right. George, you want to go or you want me to go? Top 5 Spider-Man non-goblin villains.
Doc Ock.
Okay.
Vulture. Sandman. Craven.
Yep.
And Stegron.
I could have known Stegron was going to be on that list.
That's first thing I'm listening to when you went down, and you can't have this. And I was like, please, Jesus, don't
Stegron. Brought Stegron back. Would you come back to ASM? Would you come back to Eden if you brought Stegron?
Tell him the line that you always say to me.
No, and here's the thing, because this started happening like several years ago, and Brad's like, "Hey George, are you going to pick this up?" you know, and I'm like, no, I think it was like Spider-Man was teaching, you know, mutant kids or whatever, Brad.
Yeah, Spider-Man and the X-Men was,
and it had some truly stupid characters in it. I mean, just joke throwaway characters.
Yeah.
And I actually picked up an issue of it, and I was like, "What the hell did you just tell me to buy?"
Yeah.
I almost put our friendship on the line to demand a refund.
He almost ripped the issue up and mailed it back to me. Is what he almost.
Degron killed Carly Cooper in an issue. I'm sure he'd come back for that one.
The only time that I recommended something and George was like, you know what, by God, that was pretty good, was Superior Foes.
By
Spencer.
That's right. That's right.
And usually my recommendations, George doesn't always take them, but every now and then he does. And that was one what stuck.
So. Well, here's the thing. It's hard between Brad and I because I'm very picky and Brad will literally buy any goddamn thing out there.
When it comes to Spider-Man, I do too, man.
So it's, you know, to me, like, story is important. I like an issue even if I don't like the art. Right? Yeah. I have the ability. So long as the story's good, I'm like, okay, yeah, the art wasn't my cup of tea, but whatever, right? But I always put story above art, and I don't, you know, I mean, the difference between Brad and I is just night and day. Brad will like factor a cover into the grade on an issue, which to me is
part of the package.
Which to me is anathema. I reject that wholly.
To put it in burger terms, if you have a nice bun, it adds to the burger. If you have a bad moldy bun, it affects the burger. If you have a nice cover, which is what a comic book cover does, it's the bun of the burger. The meat is the story. George, I'm doing an analogy. JR's about passed out with my food analogy.
I can't reckon the dumbness of that analogy. It's
the cover. It's what holds your burger and your book together. The burger book analogy.
Heard of such a dumb analogy in my life.
Sarah goes, "Oh, here we go, another panel of buns."
So Brad's got to give his top 5 now.
Okay, Doc Ock. If it's not Osborn, Doc Ock. One that these two fellows will not mention, Venom, Michelini, McFarlane days.
No symbiote.
He said no symbiote.
Oh, take that bastard out. All right.
I knew you were going to go with that. I knew you were going to go with that one.
Okay. Doc Ock. I like Sandman also. I like Electro. J. Jonah Jameson.
Jonah counts. Jonah.
I'm looking at my Funko Pops over here. And Felicia, if she's not being good. Mm-hmm. Is that 5? I think that's about 5 or 6. Yeah. So that's mine.
Awesome, man. I appreciate you guys letting me come on.
No problem, buddy.
Do this. I'll try to come on and say hi.
Yeah, man. I'm glad you did. All right. Well, you have a good night, buddy.
You too.
Thanks. Bye. All right. We have here. There we go. We have Milo. Milo, your camera is off. You are next in line. If there you are, Milo, I'm going to add you right now. Again, if you'd like to be on the show, crawlspacemail@gmail.com. Send me an email. I will send you a link. You click on it and you're in. All right, here's Milo.
Hello,
Milo, can you turn your camera horizontal and less light?
Yeah, you're making us feel like we're being interrogated or something.
I didn't. I see one light.
My parents are ill, so and they're sleeping, so I don't want to interrupt them. It's 2 a.m.
Can you turn around so the light gets your face?
Give me a second.
There you go.
Here we go. I'll stand up. Hello. All right. If I move my hand, it's basically me trying to keep the light on.
Okay. Where are you calling from, Milo?
I'm from the UK. It's 2 a.m. from where I'm from.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for staying up for us.
How long have you been listening to and visiting the Crawlspace?
Basically, 2021. But I didn't know that you did live stream, so I joined in September. So cool. That's why I started donating in 2021.
Oh, you're awesome, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Oh no, you deserve it, man. You are literally you're like the best podcast ever, as I stated in my review.
Yeah, you're sweet, man.
Thank you. Basically, my question is, you always let's just say in polite terms, you criticize Spider-Man comics quite a lot. What would you say makes a good Spider-Man comic?
And can I go first? I've said this before on the show, but shut up. The cover, cover make a good Spider-Man comic. If it's got a good classic cover, by God, yeah, JR. I like Spider-Man when he is dragged in both areas, his personal life and his superhero life, and they meet in the middle. I think that makes a great superhero Spider-Man comic. One of the things I've liked about the current run, which JR hasn't, is they're mixed on this one. He's got Robbie Robertson and his son and Tombstone and Spider-Man and Tombstone. And it's a balancing act on the current run. I like that where both areas of his life interact and he's stuck in the middle trying to do a little bit of both on both ends. That's what makes us. And also, if he's not so mystical and more down to earth, if you mix the personal and superhero life and a down to earth comic, and he's not off with Doctor Strange, he's not off in the Spider-Verse, he's not dealing with alternate realities of himself. That's what makes a good Spider-Man comic, in my opinion. JR, how about you?
Well, first of all, I think that before you go, is it a good Spider-Man story? Is it a good story? And I'm not trying to be funny or flippant about that. It's just that some of the writing is so bad these days, and I'm not just picking on Marvel or for example, but you see it in all entertainment. A lot of the writing is just bad. And so, I mean, it has to be a good story to begin with. But I'll kind of echo, I mean, one, obviously I like the Goblin stories because nobody, it's just so personal. It just really, really personal. These guys hate each other in costume. They hate each other out of costume. So I like, but I kind of was to echo some of Brad's stuff when they stick with the ordinariness, like Where Cometh the Commuter, I think is a terrific story. Yep. I think Spider-Man as a character lends himself to comedy a lot more than maybe other superheroes do. Yep. So, I mean, somebody who can capture that humor and make a real funny do a good funny Spider-Man story. So I would say that the one that kind of just emphasizes his ordinariness compared to the rest of the Marvel universe.
Yeah, George.
A good Spider-Man story for me starts with a story written by a writer who understands who Spider-Man is on a fundamental level, and having Spider-Man react in character in an organic fashion and not being written to fit whatever story the writer's wanting to tell. This is why Dan Slott's run was so shit poor, was because that's all Slott did was, well, I want Spider-Man to do this in this story, so he's going to act this way, which is completely counter to how the characters acted for decades. So that's a big part of it for me. I like fights. I love Spider-Man kicking the crap out of stuff. I like him being up against this is why I love the Juggernaut story and Fire Lord story so much, is because he should have gotten his ass whooped in those stories, and yet he comes out on top because he doesn't quit, he perseveres, and so that to me is another element of a big Spidey story. Brad gave his, but mine is like the character not quitting, which is again why stuff like One More Day is so shit poor.
Yeah,
definitely.
Milo, how about you? What makes a good Spider-Man story for you?
For me personally, I'd say a lot of action. I'm not a big fan of, like, the one that you're about to review, not to spoil it, but it seemed like it was just an aftermath of a previous issue.
Like an epilogue. I'll give you that.
Yeah. I just like a lot of action and just Spider-Man being in character in general.
That's true. Yep.
My second question is there any characters that you think that need a revamp in the Spider-Man comics?
I think Mary Jane needs a job. What does Mary Jane do?
Yeah, a non-model job.
Definitely. A non-model job. Yeah. What does Mary Jane do besides adopt kids? I guess I don't know what that look exactly like her. But Mary Jane, I don't think, with the exception of the model job, which I think was kind of a poor decision in hindsight in the long run. JR, I think, has talked about it would be nice if she was, or maybe George has too, about how she helps Spider-Man, like, I don't know, criminal psychology. Didn't she go to college for that in the 90s, I think?
Yeah, I would like to see that play out.
Yeah, I think Mary Jane needs a little bit of a job. She needs to go to monster.com or something.
Well, we had a little bit of that in Spencer's Run. Remember, she was going to like that support group.
Yeah, that's true.
You know?
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
That never came anywhere, did it? Or go anywhere?
Well, I mean, Spencer left.
Yeah. Yeah. Mr. Comic says evidently her job is mom. Yeah. Mysterio mom. Yeah, in my opinion. JR, any characters need as a revamp or something?
Boy, you know, I was thinking about that too, because I was thinking, I was kind of confusing revamp with reboot there for a second, because I was thinking that how much I hate it when someone tries to do a modern take on the character, a character, because comic book characters are inherently kind of corny. You know, I mean, they are. You know, I mean, like Star Trek. You know, it's I love it, but it is kind of corny. And anybody who they just lose it when they try to make something modern. You know, but you know, boy, it's a shame the ship has long sailed on this one. Venom, obviously, because now that I finally appreciate why Venom was popular, you know. I think, God, that it would be great if he'd just be a villain, a balls to the walls villain again. But that ship has long sailed.
His solo book is bad. Milo, do you read it? The Venom ongoing?
Oh yeah, I read it. I've been enjoying it recently.
I don't care for it, but
I would really like to. I'm sorry.
Oh no, like the latest issue where he had that fight with Kang, I quite enjoyed that in particular.
Not a fan. Go on, JR. What were you saying?
No, I was about to say, I would really like, maybe not so much a character, but I would really like to see him interact more with the police. I love Jean DeWolf. It's a shame they killed her. You know, I mean, but Peter David did a terrific story, but I still hate the fact that she was killed off. I wasn't the biggest Yuri. Well, I mean, but I think something could have been done with Yuri. You know, and not in a romantic way. You know, I mean, but you know. Let Jerry Conway turn her into a villain, but I like this. I like the period of time where Stern's first run in Spectacular, where Spider-Man went to different precincts, and you know, that's where he met Chris Keating, who turned out to be the Foreigner or whatever, and Detective Sergeant Snyder and Jean DeWolf or whatever. But I would like to see in a revamp. I'd like to see somebody actually do something and kind of bring him in. You know, not bring him in necessarily, but revamp his relationship with the police. You know.
Yeah, I give you that. I like that. I like that. JR has said before, and I will remind him, you would like a revamp of Aunt May knowing. And this issue of number 5, there's a little thing in her eye that it looks like she kind of does know that. Yeah. Why does this guy have all these bruises on his face? Like, you can't hide that.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I agree. I think she should know again. I've thought that for a long time, but maybe they're going to lean that way again. But
I mean, they did the movies.
Yeah, because to be honest, it makes Peter look. See, this is the thing. It makes Peter look worse. I mean, it does. It just makes him look either incredibly stupid or selfish. You know, you know that, and you just kind of look in hindsight, you know, about this whole secret identity thing. You know, it's like, holy cow, you're endangering the people you love, and you're not honest with them. So anyway, it's another argument entirely. But.
Yep. All right, Milo. I appreciate you calling in. Anything else you want to say?
Just really quick. Because you've been running the crawl space for longer than I've been alive.
Jesus.
Just real quick, Milo, Sandman. Yeah. I would want Sandman revamp since Brad's going to skip me in.
Really?
Revamp. Go ahead with the other part of your question.
I just want to know what are any ambitions for the crawl space?
To not get ignored. Brad Douglas.
To not get ignored. That's a good one. I apologize. You're still hangry, even though you had a burger and fries. It didn't help. What ambitions do I have? I don't know, man. I kind of like the way it is now. I never thought I'd be doing a live video stream with people across the world. I'd like more creators on, specifically the people that are currently writing it and drawing it. I've tried that in the past. Nick Spencer didn't pick up my call. I haven't approached Zeb Wells. I have approached John Romita Jr. and haven't heard anything back. But I wish Marvel and us would work a little bit better.
While it's on my mind, what happens about Marv Wolfman interview?
I've been lazy this summer and have not followed up. I've got Marv Wolfman has agreed. I know. Look at the old guys. Marv Wolfman agreed. And also Kurt Busick and Pat Olaf have agreed to come on, and I haven't scheduled it.
Now, see, he just said, for example, so-and-so didn't pick up my call. So-and-so didn't pick up my call. They're ignoring me. Call. And then it's like, and the other ones, screw them. I'll get to them some other time. It's like.
I've been busy, and I've also been planning a show that's happening. Here, Milo, here's an exclusive. You ready?
Oh, yeah.
There is a big show coming to the Crawlspace on August 31st.
Oh, that's my birthday.
Well, it's just for you then.
This is going to be a big one. Happy birthday!
I haven't revealed it yet, but there's going to be 10 plus Marvel creators on it.
Oh, really?
It's a celebration podcast, and on August 1st, 7:00 p.m. I haven't announced it yet. I will soon announce it. It's going to be jam packed. So that's what I've been working on. I will, because you said so, Milo. I will try to book Wolfman and Busick and Olaf before the summer is up. I will try to do that in August. Shut up, George.
This is just a quick question. George, what are the chances of Friday Night Fights returning? I
don't have time for it anymore. I just don't.
Fair enough.
My job. I'm so beaten down now during the day, but by the time I'm done with work, I don't have much left in me.
Well, it was great while it lasted. Spider History and Friday Night Fights are always my favorite. Oh, George, while it's on my mind, JR took over that Goblin fight. Not JR, George. Yeah. When are you going to take over a Spider History one? I haven't done that yet.
Probably not ever, because I don't have enough time to take over one of JR's shows. I don't have time to hop on and just take a. Plus, JR in defense does a ton of research. Actually makes notes and things.
Are you
like
kidding me? He wings half of them. He even tells the viewers and me. Well, wish I had more time this month, Brad.
Remember the Amazing Spider-Man 194 of that Marvel team up? He summarized it so quick to save his reputation.
True.
That was the best one. Anyway, before I go, JR, as you say a lot of funny things. Could you give me a good Obadiah Stane impression, please?
I've listened to some of the stuff I've done, and it's like, that's not very good.
The fans are demanding it. Give them what they want. Dance for me, monkey.
I feel
Tony Stark built the same thing in a cave with a box of scraps.
Oh man.
It sounds exactly like his Jonah. I was about to say this is going to sound like Jonah, and sure enough.
Yeah. Well, it's almost 2 in my area. I've probably passed it. I just want to say before I go is that you're the best podcast ever. I mean, I watch you instead of Joe Rogan and other stuff.
Well, there you go. I didn't know we were competing against Joe Rogan, but there you go.
No, you're better in my opinion.
It's 2 bald guys going head to head.
Yeah, the only thing separating you can tell the two apart is Joe Rogan's tattoos.
Well, it just so happens, JR, over summer break, I got nothing. I'm just kidding.
I was about to say, there's no way. There's no way.
Yeah, well, you're literally the best, Matt. And you've when I was at high school, I barely had any people to talk to, so I'd put on your stuff and you'd make me feel better.
Dude, that's why I made the site. I didn't have anybody in high school like Spider-Man either. So I made the site, and look at all these people that talk to me. So
anyway, I hope you have a fantastic night. I'll donate a bit more money before I go for your next live stream. I just want to say thank you as always, and have a good time. Bye.
You too, buddy. Peace. Thank you, man. What a great guy. Such a great guy.
I love it when we get UK calls.
Yeah, we just read his UK review recently on a recent podcast where he wrote an iTunes review. So I thought that was really nice. Again, if you would like to be on the show like Milo was, crawlspacemail@gmail.com. I've got 3 in the wings, possibly 4 more. Our next one is Vinkman. What's going on, Vinkman? Hey, buddy.
Hey. Well, first, can you actually hear me this time?
I can, and I can see you even better. And I also see, isn't it I Dream of Jeannie over your shoulder?
Yep. I met her several years ago. Yep.
Yeah. That was one of George's crushes, I imagine. Yeah. So, Vinkman, refresh us where you're calling from.
I'm from Massachusetts.
Massachusetts, and you've been with the site a long time. How many years you think?
About almost 9 years.
Wow.
I started in 2013.
That's so cool. Did JR bring you here like everybody else said?
Actually, yes, it was an episode of Spider History.
Ah, there you go. What was that character that had the little flute and all the snakes followed him out of the village?
Pied Piper.
Pied Piper. JR is the Spider Pied Piper is what he is direct to me, I guess. All right, Vinkman, what do you got for us?
Okay, well, this is sort of a question I like to have for everyone.
Okay.
In 2022, well, it's a two-part question, or actually it's more like the latter half than the first, but in 2022, it does seem like, as much as I think most of us don't want to admit, I think the days of Peter being freelance photographer might be played out. What do you think Peter should do as a job going forward?
I know JR's answer right off the top, and it's probably my answer, and it's probably George's answer. I think teacher works. Being a mentor to the youth, being a substitute teacher, I think works better than a Monday to Friday teacher gig. However, he's not going to raise much money being a sub, so, especially living in New York with the inflation prices. So, but teacher works. Did I guess right for JR and George? Teacher?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think, not to step on, but I think one, it shows how when Straczynski did it, Straczynski always showed how smart Peter was, so it always showed how smart Peter was. And, again, it brought him in contact with young people. I mean, if your character ages, and I think Peter Parker, Peter Parker's not a kid. I don't think he should be, or he shouldn't be anymore, but I think it's a good idea for him to interact with young people. I think it would be good for the title, so anyway, yeah, I agree with you totally, Brad.
George, your thoughts? I didn't skip you.
I mean, no, but we all have the same answer. I mean, I don't have anything for everything.
Why do you like him as a teacher, though, George?
Because specifically as a science teacher. I mean, it showcases if there's somebody who should be teaching science, it's Peter Parker.
Yeah.
It was always just a solid fit for him. That was one of my favorite parts of the JMS run was him teaching.
And I apologize. I mean, I was just thinking that I remember when Ezekiel once, confronted him and said, do you really want to be a hero of the people? You've got to kind of change your approach and your tact or whatever. But I always thought that's a way for Peter Parker to leave a legacy, not Spider-Man to leave a legacy, but Peter Parker to leave a legacy by educating people and inspiring people. Like what was it? Didn't they have like a character who liked octopuses or something or whatever? But anyway, but Peter was his mentor. I like that. I really think that's, instead of consistently showing him as this loser, as this guy who can't, who can't keep his life straight. That has played out. That played out decades ago. It's time to get past
currently, that. At least in Spencer's run, wasn't he a TA for Connors? And I don't think TAs get paid, do they? I think they get maybe tuition a little lowered or something.
Wasn't he just in Connors' class?
I thought he was an assistant or something with Connors. I could be wrong, but he has been in grad school since the 80s, so 40 years.
Well, off and on, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and I do like what Spencer did, where they put him back, and he had to earn the degree legit, unlike Doc Ock gave it to him. Yeah. But if he does graduate grad school, the character is aged, but. I know they hate that at Marvel, but here you go. Citro says TAs get additional college credits. So there you go. So they get paid in credits, not money, actually. So that's not going to pay his bills, though. So high school science teacher, I think that works. Substitute. How about you, Venkman? What do you think profession for him?
That's one that I'm kind of still trying to figure out. Because I think, this is one of those things where I think Peter being a scientist in theory is a good idea, but Slott kind of, ran that into the ground, with taking it to Parker Industries and stuff. So that's almost tainted at this point. So
yeah, true. I do miss him interacting with the Bugle, because the Bugle cast is so great. And
yeah, that's true.
Him doing, I don't know, being a videographer for the Bugle, posting to their social media and their website, I think is very similar, which that would still keep him interacting with Jonah and Robbie, which I don't want to lose by giving him a whole new cast of characters in a school. But I don't know.
Yeah.
So what else you got, Venkman?
I think that was I think that might have been about it.
Okay, man.
Because I think the thing is, you're mostly keeping the Spider-Man related, because I had one or two Star Trek things I might have.
Go hit JR up real quick. You can hit JR with some Star Trek. Go ahead.
Well, also I don't know how well George and JR keep up with the action figures, but I'm assuming you saw that Playmates has got the license again to do Star Trek figures, and they're doing 6-inch figures, like specifically of Next Gen, Discovery, and 40th anniversary figures of for Wrath of Khan. I was wondering, like, did you? Yeah, I was just wondering, did you have any opinions on that, or on any opinions of Playmates getting the license again?
Well, I tell you, first of all, Playmates did a heck of a better job than Hasbro. I just remember I was so disappointed with those after the 2009 movie, because I really did like the Abrams reboot originally. I really thought that was, and then the toys were just crap. They were crap. And then it turned out that Abrams wanted to basically, he thought he could tell CBS to stop licensing the original series and the original cast, and CBS told him to go piss off. I always think that's one reason why Abrams just kind of gave up on Star Trek, is because I don't know. I think Abrams is an IP leech in a way. He tries to attach to IPs and tries to, suck off some royalties or whatever. But anyway, that's another time. But I tell you, I don't really collect a lot of Star Trek stuff now. It's like anything else. You find, you need to spend your money on other things. And then, when you get to my age, you realize, holy crap, what am I going to do with all this stuff? I mean, it's like, I'm just not going to keep accumulating. But for example, I got the Funko Pop set with Kirk and Spock and the Wrath of Khan, the Mego, when Mego, well, I don't know if it's really Amigo or Descendant or someone bought the name or whatever, but like when they came out with an 8-inch Captain Spock and the Wrath of Khan. So I'm very, I got that, and I've seen that they're going to do I think maybe one in the motion picture outfit and one in the Star Trek 4 when he's in the robe, and they might do that one. So it's kind of it's kind of a it just depends on what the product is. I mean, I'm not out there, I've got to get it up.
I got some pictures.
Okay.
They did a con here.
Yeah, if I had that's a really good. That's a good face.
That looks
sculpt.
Pretty good.
That is a good face sculpt.
They never made action figures for when 2 came out, right, Venkman?
No,
they didn't.
Yeah, there was 1 and 3.
Well, because one, so many companies lost money, or on one, nobody licensed.
Here we go. Here's Spock from Star Trek 2.
Yeah.
So I think they look pretty good. What do you think, Venkman?
Sculpt, yeah, those are.
Yeah,
I would probably get Spock. I would probably get the Spock.
Yeah, George, what do you think of him? George, you're muted, George.
No, I think they're cool. They were posted. Yeah. Somebody had posted them to the Discord a long time ago.
Yeah.
I'd seen that con already, but no, they look good.
Yeah, that's cool. All right. Anything else, Venkman?
That was about it. I think the only sort of playing off of that, where I'm very happy that Playmates has the license again, because my all-time favorite Star Trek action figures are the 90s Playmates Trek toys. But there's a part of me that's and again, I don't think this is I don't know how likely this is going to happen, but there's a part of me that, since they have the license again, it would be nice if they actually reissued some of if they still have the original molds, to actually re-release some of the, do retro figures of the original 90s toys. And B, it would be nice if they actually did some retro style, doing, basically picking up where they left off, because Playmates, they lost the license in 2000. So they never did Enterprise or any of the other stuff. So there's a part of me that thinks it would be nice if they did
continue
the others in that 4.5 inch scale, so they all match up. Because that's the one thing I'm a little, I'm interested in, the Kirk, Spock, and Khan, but I don't know how far I'm going to go, because the problem there is, I'm basically having to buy everybody all over again. And when you consider how many figures that I have of the Playmates line, that's...
And those figures are $18 a pop, just like the Legends. That's a nice chunk of change each figure. It's not like $6 or $7 in the 90s when they used to buy them. So.
Yeah.
All right, Vinkman, I appreciate you coming on. We got a few more people wanting to hop on. So thank you for your support always, man. Thank you, sir. All right. See you, buddy.
Bye, guys.
All right. Again, if you would like to join the show, we've email crawlspacemail@gmail.com. We have Hornacek in the house. Craig.
Hey, Hornacek.
Hornacek's not on the list, is he, JR?
No. I was on the list once, I think, for what.
How'd you get off of it?
No, he came close. He came close, and then he redeemed himself.
Oh, George says money. Okay.
I don't want to remind JR about what caused it, so let's just leave that for history.
All right. What do you, Craig? Refresh us where you're from.
Nova Scotia, Canada.
Canada, and you've been with the site for a long time. How many years?
I knew this question was coming up. I was looking through the archives to try and find the podcast episode. I remember these live call-in shows when the majority of the callers said that they found the website through Spidey Kicks Butt. So I was glad to hear at least one previous person say that, because that's how I found it.
What year do you think?
If George may be able to help us out, because I found the website and I think the most current podcast at the time, and I think this is hilarious that this is my stepping stone into the Crawlspace, was when George reviewed the 2 porn movies.
Jesus. Well, those aren't on the internet anymore. Because George and I would like to keep gainfully employed.
Well, one of us has a job where that would be more of an issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those were good. Those are the lost Crawlspace episodes that will never be found.
Oh man, it's like, I think you'd almost release that as a special ad in a disc set or something.
Patreon exclusive.
No, not even no amount of money. Yeah.
top tier Patreon members get that episode.
Yeah.
I wish you'd at least still send them to me or something so I can listen to them, because they were hysterical.
The favorite line, I went to the video store and I tried to put it in my DVD player, and my DVD player looked at me like, "Are you serious? Where has this been?"
I particularly remember George talking about talking to the young woman working at the store, and she was like a cute young woman, and he was basically trying to say, I'm just reviewing this for.
I'm just reviewing
it. And she's looking at it saying, "Yeah, sure, right, creepy old man."
Yeah,
I'm reviewing it for a website, right?
That was not a fun moment.
What you did? No, Mr. Comics, not even on Crawlspace OnlyFans.
No, Crawlspace OnlyFans is where I sell feet pics.
Yeah.
Would that be only webs?
That's some weird footage. All right.
God Almighty!
Come on! Look, Come on, Craig, facepalm me. Just make it a rip. Yeah, there you go. All right, Craig, what do we have as a question? What do you got? Thanks, Mr. Comics, by the way.
All right, question for JR. So earlier, someone asked how Norman might become evil again, and I'm just wondering, do you think that, if assuming this is going to happen, do you think this will be a choice that's forced upon him, like he doesn't want to become evil, but someone or something forces the Sins to become evil, kind of like what happened to Sandman back when he became evil again? Or is this going to be like a noble sacrifice that he makes to save Spider-Man or someone else, that he realizes in order to save people, I must take these sins back upon me?
Boy, I hope not. You know, to be honest, I really don't like the evil being. I mean, again, it's kind of like, I don't think that's realistic, and here, we cheer when Spider-Man fights a guy made out of sand, and but the idea that evil is a tangible thing, and I don't like that concept, because I think that diminishes your villains. I mean, if you make, or even for heroes, if it's this tangible thing that be taken out of a person, because we all have our dark side and our light side or whatever. And, and plus that, simplifies Norman's problems. Oh, he's got this demon in him. That's why he's bad. I mean, it's like a demon. Yeah. It's like he's possessed by a demon. So I really don't like that. Boy, how would he get it? I mean, so I don't like that to begin with, but no, I don't want it to be any kind of noble sacrifice. I want him I want it to be like maybe he's weak. He can't rise to the occasion, and he has to be the Goblin to accomplish something, because that's when he's at his best is when he's the Goblin.
Our hero, yours and mine, Norman. But yeah,
that's it.
The villain has to realize,
I want him to want to be the Goblin again.
Exactly. Yeah. Norman has to think that he's becoming the Goblin for the good of mankind.
And this guy's a teacher, boys and girls. The gooder of mankind.
The gooder of mankind.
The gooder best.
I wish you guys would have to multitask. When you get an email like, what can I ask George? And then I wrote, this is what you can ask George on the email. And then I try to pop this up. I can't multitask as good as JR can. Just sit there and answer the fans.
So all of the questions to George tonight have been provided by Brad to the listeners?
No, just this person that asked to come on. Oh, okay. He goes, I don't have a question. I'm like, ask George this. You'll see that soon. What else you got, Craig?
So Brad, I think would it be fair to say that you have, of the people reviewing the new run by Zeb Wells, that you are probably the most positive of the reviewers?
Yeah, I think so, with the exception of Dark Mark. Yeah, he and I are really high on this run, and I'm amazed about it, because I'm digging it. I like it a lot.
And so, yeah. Would it be also fair to say that before this run started, when you heard that Zeb Wells was going to be writing it, you were probably like really negative?
Well, I've never read anything Zeb Wells has written that I liked. Yeah. So I didn't like Shed. I didn't like that Sandman story as an adjectiveless. The Snow story in Brand New Day I didn't like. So yeah, I was shocked as anyone that I'm enjoying it. Maybe I also had a bad taste in my mouth coming off of the Ben Reilly story that was a filler. Yeah. So yeah. Oh so yeah, Gary in the Frozen says Javi has been enjoying it too.
Yeah,
so,
Javi did. Yeah.
Yeah.
So is it possible that if you went back and reread those Spidey stories by Wells now? No, but you would. You wouldn't like something that you might like them more than you did at the time, or is it just that he's grown as a writer, kind of like how Zdarsky, how we didn't really like his spectacular run at the beginning, but by the end we were like, wow, this and Life Story, Zdarsky is a great Spidey writer.
There are things by people I like that have written bad things. Jason Aaron, I like his Punisher, I like his Ghost Rider, I love his Thor. I despise his Hulk, and his Avengers is lackluster. So
that's another thing that I can blame on Brad. Brad was like, "Oh, George, you need to pick up Thor. This guy Jason Aaron's doing it." And
you didn't like it?
Oh no, it was ass. I remember reading it, I was like, "What the hell is this?"
Well, I liked it. Dan Slott, I'll even say Dan Slott, his Human Torch and Spider-Man miniseries. All of us were like, get this guy on board.
That was terrific. And he did a terrific She-Hulk. I mean, the episode where in She-Hulk where Spider-Man sued Jonah. Terrific stuff. Yeah. And
it's because I'm black.
Yeah. And Zeb Wells did Behind the Mustache
line.
and Friendly and Friendly, what do they call that? But anyway, the series where it was about Spider-Man, but Spider-Man wasn't supposed to be in it. But he did a one shot with Jonah, and that was terrific. But not a fan of the current stuff.
I bet you there's Stan Lee stuff I don't like. Yeah. I mean, not to put Dan Slott in the Stan Lee level, but there are writers that write bad things, and occasionally they get a good one. And 5 issues in, I'm in. I like it, so I'm shocked.
Well, there are writers who will have a bad day, a bad story, or who will write poorly sometimes. And then there are others, like Shed is almost an offensive story. It really is.
Not even almost. I mean, it's bad.
Yeah, I mean, and some of the stuff, it isn't just bad; it's offensive, offensively bad. I mean,
Shed falls under the offensive area in mine. Like JR goes, the rape
written.
Yeah. The rape, and when they denied it was a rape of the assistant, and and also the killing of his family, the lizard killing his family. You don't come back from that. I just don't. That's too dark, I think, for a Spider-Man story. But
that editorial should have just stopped that one, but they don't. Editors aren't editors anymore. So
and that story ranks high, and Marvel even advertises it. It's one of their best stories of all time.
Brad, it doesn't. It's Marvel projecting it. It's Marvel telling you what they want you to
telling us that that's one of their best stories.
This is one of our best stories ever. Shed.
Tell a lie long enough, and people will start to believe it.
Very true.
Very Orwellian. Yes,
propaganda.
Yeah. Very much propaganda. I give it.
It's like Marvel talking about how wildly popular One New Day, or
One New Day,
or the brand new version.
One New Story. Yeah.
I mean, you lived through it, Brad. You knew how unpopular it was.
Yes, sir. I know. All right, Craig. Anything else for us?
No, that's it. I didn't have a George question because I thought he'd still be eating his burger by the time I got on. So I apologize.
It was cold and lackluster, and his hanger has not subsided. All right, Craig. Thank you, buddy. And
all right,
check out Craig is Hornacek on our Discord. He just wrote a quote of one of our old podcasts, and I love that one that you just wrote today. That was really funny. So very cool, man. Appreciate you.
Okay. Bye.
All right. See you, buddy. Bye. All right. Our next one is, speaking of an ASM reviewer, Ryan Reed is in the house. What's up, Ryan?
Hey, Brad. Hey, JR. George, how is it?
Hey, Ryan.
Hey, Ryan.
What's going on? How are you, buddy?
We got back from our last summer family trip. We were out in Michigan City, hitting out everything else, too. So we just got back a few hours ago. So I had all the internet off and just got it back up. But not too bad. Just joined the last couple weeks because I'm switching schools and
I saw that. Yeah. Good luck with that. And you got your classroom all ready to go? Has it got some Spider-Man in it?
They finished cleaning out everything else. I'm hopefully going to go see it in orientation in about another week.
And did I remember, did you have a yard sale by seeing it on Facebook?
Yes, I had a garage sale.
How did that go? Did you sell any Spider-Man?
Thursday and Friday. And Friday it was raining, like it's raining now outside. Did better.
Yeah.
Saturday, it was a ghost town. I mean, there were people even posting on group message boards like, where's everybody? It's Saturday. Nobody.
Did you sell any Spider-Man?
Did I sell any Spider-Man? I sold a little couple of mini figures I had for a little bit too. But I did find actually a nice couple of cases for some comic stuff too. And actually, my Spider-Girl Power Piece just showed up today. So it's
nice. I saw that. Yeah, those things are so tiny. Those things are so tiny.
It's really well detailed. I mean, it really looks like something out of that Pat Elf actually drew.
I meant to buy one of those. I think it's the same group that did Amazing Friends. It's like a box set. Is that the same game? Yeah, it's got. Doesn't it even have Miss Lion in it?
It did have Miss Lion in it, and they actually came up with the actual card with it too. So I was actually.
Oh, that's cool. I got to get that.
So I've got it in a little spot. I'm actually redoing that whole area. I'm kind of got my main stuff because I actually have a Crown Jewel Spider-Girl. What if Spider-Girl actually signed by Ron and Tom and Sal?
Yeah,
with the Green Goblin cover, actually. So yeah.
Ooh, there you go, JR. All right, refresh us, Ryan. Where are you from?
So I'm in Illinois here. I live in Genoa, so I'm about an hour out of Chicago west.
And you've been visiting the Crawlspace how many years?
Oh, I think since
Or
the
listening?
Avera message boards, Brad, when you first had a lot of pieces enough stuff, and I used to Sunday mornings, I'd wake up, do a couple things on, and then I just listen to the podcast and just do things on the internet. It was
So
always my Sunday morning thing because I
probably
used to
2000, if I had to guess, right?
yeah. So
22 years. There you go.
I don't regret it. You know, hey, my own podcast.
Oh, there you go. What's your question, sir?
So, actually, this is, I think this might throw out the both here, but the question is, you know, we've been having a lot of untold tales lately written by like Peter David, Paulson. We've been seeing that in like the Symbiote Spider-Man. Now they're doing the Fantastic Four, and they're even doing Captain Marvel. So, do you actually think there is actually a place for these untold stories? Since we had, you know, Untold Tales of Spider-Man and Tales of Web back in the 90s. Now it seems like there's been a revival the last 2 years.
I'd say there's more room for an Untold Tales Peter David story than there is for a Told Tales Dan Slott story.
Yeah.
That's a good one, George. I like
Yeah,
that.
that's good.
That's a good
You're not
one.
gonna top that answer.
That's why Brad pays me the big bucks, Ryan.
I don't mind the issues that take place in other issues. It's the similar problem I have with prequels and the fact that you know how things are going to turn out, so the drama and the tension is gone on a lot of these. So I don't mind it if it's a good story that needs to be told and it has to take place in the past, go for it. But more often than not, I don't think it needs to be told. JR, what do you think?
I think it's lazy. I think it's really lazy. But to go back to what Brad said, though, if it's a good story, a good story. I mean, you know, if it like breaks canon a little bit or whatever, a good story will cover a multitude of sins. So true. Definitely, but I think it's kind of lazy. It's like you can't go forward. It's like, oh, let's go in the back here. You know, let's go in the past, or let's. No, I don't.
Well,
care for it.
Well, they're not letting Spider-Man go forward anymore, JR. That's the
true. Got to
so
get
when
the
that
DeLorean
happens,
and put on the Huey Lewis and go back in time. I mean,
when that happens, all you can do is tell stories from a bygone era.
Yeah, that's true. What do you think, Ryan?
I'm kind of with JR. If it's a good story, it outdoes it. Like I said too, even reviewing like the Symbiote Spider-Man, I thought the first 2 miniseries were great because it really touched upon things doing that. After that, it felt like, okay, we're getting kind of lazy now. We're kind of playing it versus the Fantastic Four one is actually the first issue like hooked a bunch of us because I was like, this is actually good because there weren't a lot of stories in that back then. So,
and another thing that I really don't like are the backup stories in an anniversary issue to pad it out for the $10. Mm-hmm. I mean, I can't name one that I'm like, well, that was great.
No, they're usually,
They're usually just really poor and filler.
Neither can anyone else, Brad, but you know what? People will still buy them just because they exist. That's a huge problem.
Yeah, I'll give you that. That's why we're paying $10 for crap and about 30 pages of a regular story that we're kind of interested in.
Yeah.
Pieces on that too.
Yeah. What else you got, Ryan?
I found an original Green Goblin piece in Florida last month, and I almost got it for you. It was beautiful.
Oh.
It was $40.
I'm not worth that. So.
Okay.
Just watch the Christmas show. JR, we value my friendship at $40.
Yeah.
By the way, JR's poster behind him, someone, the Spider-Man Vault collector in Springfield, Missouri, he bought that poster because he saw it in the background of your stuff. I don't know if I told you that, JR. I thought that was kind of cool.
You did tell me that. Yeah, you did. I thought that was cool. Yeah. I mean, it's great. I mean, Alex Ross is, you talk about somebody who just nails it. I mean, Alex Ross.
Yeah.
Hornacek says, here's this year's ASM annual with backup stories featuring Solo and the Prowler.
Oh yeah. ASM
we all know we have to have more Solo. I remember the little Fleer cards of the 90s and also Solo. Solo.
Remember those annuals one year where they introduced a new character? They put a card in the bag and you saw Annex. That's it. That was
Annex.
I remember that. I have no idea.
That was terrible. God, that was so bad.
Annex. What happened to Annex? He's hanging out with Facade.
Is Prowler still slotted?
Prowler? No, Prowler is.
Did he get better?
He's Prodigy in the Slingers. Hobie is
took over as Hornet since he was the
Hornet.
One originally.
Yeah, but is he like still a clone? Is what I'm asking.
No, they switched it. He wasn't a clone.
or killed or whatever.
They didn't kill him. He's not a clone. They didn't
so
kill him.
All right.
They
So
did a switcheroo.
They unslotted him.
They unslotted him. Yes.
That'll be the book here. We'll have this series with Slot and Mark Bagley, and then it'll be like this will then be unslotted after the series.
One thing they haven't unslotted is Killing Amazing Friends. I'm friends with Dan Gilvazan, who's on Facebook. He's the voice of the Spider-Man from that 80s show, and he just discovered that Slot killed him in the comics.
According to the Marvel Wiki, that was a different group. That wasn't them.
Thank God.
That was an alternate version of them.
Especially since two are on the new X-Men roster again. We got Firestar and Iceman back together again. So
yeah, that's not going to make me buy Ice.
I didn't say I was going to buy it either. There,
Brad. Yeah. Spider-Verse. Well, like I said, Spider-Man and Friends was never. I've said Spider-Man and Friends has never been. I never really liked that show, but honestly, that's stupid. That's a waste of what could be a cute concept. Like when Miles went into the 66 animated show, and you could have done something with that, but you just kill him off and look how clever I am. I did this. That I think that was.
If Miles goes into the Amazing Friends in the movie, I will lose it. I will absolutely. If a little dog runs up to Miles in Spider-Verse 2,
especially if you get the original cast, I mean, they're all still alive.
Oh, I'd be over the moon. All right, Ryan, anything else before we wrap it up?
George, I was in your neck of the woods last month. Actually, I was on a connecting flight, so I was like, I wonder what George is doing today
in Dallas.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah. What day was it? Was it a?
It was a Tuesday.
George was working and miserable.
Well, yeah.
And eating a cold burger, evidently. Poor guy.
That's what he wants, burger.
Yeah. All right, Ryan, we got 3 more after you, man. It's always a pleasure, buddy.
Sounds good, guys. Keep going. George, JR, always good to hear you. Same thing to you, Brad. And hey, got 2 weeks here. I'll take the plunge and review 900. Yay!
There you go, buddy.
All
right.
Looking forward to that one.
Good talking to you, Ryan.
See you, Ryan. Good to see you, man. All right, bye.
I don't know how much longer I'm going to be up.
How about we do 3 more callers, George, and we'll call it. Is that cool? Because I'm not getting any more emails. And we're going to stop it after this last one, okay? That are in the green room. All right. Our next one that will put us to about 2 hours or so. I think that's a good tick. All right. We got Sarah. What's going on, Sarah? Hi.
Hey, guys. Good to see you.
Your show was amazing. Literally, you did great showing off your stuff.
So much.
Have you been able to put all your stuff back? You had it on display.
Yes, I put it all back actually the same day because my roommate didn't want like an explosion of Spider-Man all over the dining room and kitchen.
You need to find a new roommate.
That's what I was about to say. You need to find a new roommate.
Well, it was funny because she was watching the show and she had commented like, show this, show this, show this. And so I thought she supports it, but I just thought it was funny. She's like, can you put that stuff away?
So it's her fault, is what you're saying. Is what I'm.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
Tevia says hi, Sarah. There you go.
Hi.
All right, and refresh us, Sarah. Where are you from?
I'm from Chicago, but I live in Las Vegas now.
Las Vegas. Oh, that's right. And how many years have you been visiting the Crawlspace and listening?
I was thinking of this question because I knew you were going to ask. So I looked up on Apple Podcasts, the Spider-Man podcasts, and the Crawlspace was the first one that came up, and that had to have been back in 2015, and then I discovered that there was the YouTube and all that stuff. So
yeah, there you go. Coming up on 10 years nearly. So there you go.
Yeah, that's crazy.
All right, hit us with what you got. What do you got for us?
Okay, so I don't know if George and JR will be able to answer this question, but maybe. So if you were writing the current Amazing Spider-Man run, what would you do with the character?
Whatever's the opposite of whatever Zeb Wells is doing. Probably. No, if I was writing, I would. I definitely, Well, I say I would, bring back the marriage and everything. But then again, if I'm just the writer, the editors aren't going to let me do that. So I quit and I go and write, something cool somewhere else.
Well, George, it would probably age up the character a little bit, which they complain about. You would make him married, right?
Oh, absolutely, I would. Yeah.
Yeah. You'd make him beat the devil.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd resolve that. Have the marriage come back, be intact, and then a
kid.
I guess flip the bird to Marvel as I'm walking out of the office. As I'm
Is
getting
he a
fired
dad?
from the title. Oh, hell yeah! I'd make him a dad.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, if you're talking about a character that's all about responsibility, Brad,
yeah,
there's no bigger response. And JR and I have said this for a billion times here on this site and on the podcast. There's no bigger responsibility than being a husband and a father.
Yeah.
So, hell yeah, have a little kid. Yeah.
JR, what are you doing to Peter?
That didn't sound right. Yeah, it's like I'm not going to say anything particularly original here because George covered it. I would make him a high school teacher, and I would keep him there. Aunt May would know he was Spider-Man. He would be married to Mary Jane, and they would have a daughter named May. I would, boy, I'd really love to find something for Jonah to do because I'd love that character. I would keep him knowing that Peter was Spider-Man, but I don't know, but I would try to find something to do with Jonah to keep him in the stories. Osborn would be back in charge of Oscorp, and then everybody would either forget or forgive him being the Green Goblin. I never liked it that he was outed, for example, because like I've always said, I always like the fact that he was the monster walking among us, and only Peter knows. So I would bring that back. Boy, what else? I mean, it's a good question, and I would probably, in a way, kind of like Nick Spencer did, in a way. I would go back and find. I mean, see. The problem is, I'd be so fan servicey. I couldn't write anyway. So I mean, that's why I'm not a writer. But I would go back and boy, that was an interesting plot that was never resolved. I liked the Stacy's plot. I really did. I wanted Paul Stacy to be the goblin that Norman was using. I mean, I liked the idea that Jill was Mary Jane's best friend because I think Mary Jane, like we've always said, Mary Jane needs a job. Mary Jane needs her own arc, or her own thing, her own identity, not just, not just being Mrs. Spider-Man. I mean, because there's a reason he's married to her. She's a terrific person, human being, strong. I mean, Felicia would hang around, boy, I try to. Boy, I always say, boy, I would like to come up with a good female villain. I mean, although now I think about it, I mean the Spencer's what I don't know what he calls them, but they're kind of hard to dislike. I mean, I kind of like those girls, so I'd probably try to come up with a good female villain.
Felicia is it, isn't it?
Well, she's not really a villain anymore. I mean, she's not a villain to him. She's a villain if you're rich and she's stealing crap from you.
Princess Python was the very first female I think he ever fought in the Ditko with the Circus of Crime. But I can't.
But there would definitely be a re-emphasis on Peter Parker. Peter Parker's life, the people that Peter Parker picked a that the people that Peter loves, and no more killing off supporting characters. No more. So anyway, that's the answer.
Wait a minute. What about Liz? Because Liz is a garbage human being.
I don't like Liz. That's why I said put Norman in charge of Oscorp. Kick Liz out of there. Liz is not a business magnate.
Does she need to drop off a bridge by Norman?
Norman's not going to do anything to her because she's the mother of his grandchildren, or one of them, I should say. I forget the other one is Lily Hollister's. But no, I don't even. But Liz is not a good character. Liz is not, or at least, well, I shouldn't say that. Liz is not written well.
That's the better way to say it.
Yeah. Liz is not written well. No one's got a handle on that character, and it's like if you can't do it justice, don't do it at all.
Trevia wants to know who's the other kid. Well, Maury Povich talked to us, and that would be Stanley. And the baby mama is Lily Hollister. Yes. So there you go, Trevia. What I wouldn't say I can write it, but what I like in a Spider-Man story is not so many clones of him, and also side characters. Like if you limit it to 2099 and Mayday, maybe at the maximum. We don't need a Ben. We don't need a Spidey UK. We don't need. I like Spider Ham, but anyway, if you spread him so thin, the original is lackluster to an extent, in my opinion. So limit him away from the Spider-Verse stuff. Limit him to the down to earth villains, like the crime stuff. That's why I'm liking the Tombstone stuff so much. Have him interact
call it Tomb stuff.
Tomb stuff, yeah. Give him a job at the Bugle as taking pictures for their website. Maybe he can stream it. He can put his phone up nowadays, web his phone, and he can stream a Spider-Man fight. You can update the Bugle. That's what newspapers are doing. They're becoming broadcast television stations, essentially, almost. I like Mary Jane and Peter as a couple. I think it gets really old when you separate them, especially for us longtime readers. Me going on 40 years, I've seen them separated so much. And comics are almost a niche industry anymore in the fact that these long-term titles, we're the people paying the $4. We would like them to be married and a little older. We would like them to grow and not be Charlie Brown.
Well, they're still the same age. It's just they're written badly.
Yeah,
and that is true.
They're written to the point where they're acting immature compared to how they should be written.
Exactly. Yeah. And I mean, you can do it. I know George doesn't like it and JR didn't like it, but you can do an Ultimate Spider-Man where he's a teenager if you'd like. You can make a side universe and aim totally at the new market. But don't forget your bread and butter of the people that have been buying for years that want some growth. You know, I think they often forget if they're chasing the young, elusive, newer reader and forgetting about the people that are dying off.
They're not forgetting about them, Brad. They're actively trying to get rid of people like JR and I.
Well, George, what kind of business plan is that if they're trying to get rid of their consistent consumers?
It's the same pattern that other companies face when the people that are like their primary customers are getting older and getting grayer. They don't want them as customers anymore. They want younger. They want younger people who, by the way, aren't spending a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
They are.
But that's just how companies work. They want new hip. They want new customers. They want new people buying their stuff. They want to be hip and fresh. They don't want people like me and JR anymore.
Yeah. It's kind of like when you buy a cell phone or you buy a new plan. Like this is for new customers only. Like it doesn't apply to you that pay your money monthly. We want that new guy, and if the old guy drops off, so what?
They got their money out of us.
It doesn't.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. And because the older people like me and JR are the ones that have money, you know, JR's retirement age, for crying out loud. You know, and can actually,
unfortunately, that's true.
can actually pay for stuff and buy stuff.
Yeah.
But that's, you know.
Hornacek has a good point in chat. He says, Brad, they're not forgetting about the new reader. Remember the Spidey Fortnite book? Yes, that is going for a new outlet because I don't know if you guys heard about this. I imagine Sarah has. They are selling a Spider-Man Marvel Fortnite book. It's bagged, and if you buy the comic book, just like the 90s, it's bagged and has a new skin that you can play as a Spider character on Fortnite. You can only get it from the comic book. So that's not a bad idea. That is actively trying to get somebody new.
I want to add, and I've mentioned this before, but that there was a really good there's a YouTuber out there by his site is called Retro Blasting. He talks about toys. His name's Mike French or something, but he did a great episode surrounding that and why, and he was using like Marvel's, well, actually he was using like Star Trek, Star Wars, and Doctor Who as because it's not just happening in Marvel Comics.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is he explains that it's this corporate mentality, this corporate and it's like, what do we have and who can we reach? And it's like they don't want the old customers. It's like,
right.
Because he says, why don't you go to the fans who know the characters the best and ask them what they want? And he said, and here's where the cognitive dissonance is so strong. You don't want those customers. So part of it is a corporate mentality. That's part of it. And honestly, I tell you, I don't know any industry other than the entertainment industry that insults its customers. I mean, I don't see Procter and Gamble, CEOs, insulting their customers on Twitter, or say, you know what? I don't care if you use Crest. I don't care if you use my product. Go buy, go somewhere else if you want. And Yeah, but it's a problem. It's a problem in the entire entertainment industry, and it's a problem in with a lot of corporations.
Yeah,
and there's a lot of corporate mentality that is like that, because like McNulty was just saying, is because they know they can do anything, and Brad Douglas will still buy variants.
And so will I.
I mean, seriously. I mean, they can do whatever they want to, and Brad Douglas will still continue to buy $10 issues.
Yeah, that's true, but there are less of me. There's less of me than there are older people that are on the edge, like you and JR.
You know, I mean, the most inexplicable, and it's not even Spider-Man, the most inexplicable example of this, and that's why I think it's got to be personal with Kathleen Kennedy, is what happened with Star Wars. You know, because there is absolutely no, I mean, come on. I know, for example, because I was thinking about some of the flack that's going on about this Ms. Marvel show, or Disney Plus show, which I haven't watched. It's not for me, and I perfectly understand that. And like they coming out and say, well, it's because people don't like a woman character or a female. No, this is Disney. The fact that they should have young teenage girl superheroes.
Yeah.
They should have, and come on, a lot of the population of the world is non-white. I mean, come on, India is a billion, going to surpass China population-wise. I mean, you have Central and South America. I mean, the fact that she's non-white is not a problem. The fact that, Disney should have young girl superheroes. There's not a problem with that. But it's like Star Wars, for example. What did we want to see with Star Wars? We knew the Harrison Ford didn't want to do it anymore. We knew Carrie Fisher was just a coke line away from passing.
Jesus Christ,
JR.
Well, anyway,
woo!
But you wanted to see, it's like, you wanted to see the old guys, the old gang back together for one last time. Yep, probably you do kill Han off in the first one because Harrison Ford don't want to do it anymore.
That was the only way he was coming back.
Yeah, exactly. But you don't do that stupid thing with the son, And then, at the end of 9, Luke dies because 8, Luke dies because at 9 you want to see him be a Force ghost. But you start out with the old, and then by the end of 9, you have 3 or 4 new heroes. To take the story out to 10, 11, 12, whatever. You don't shit on the old characters. And like for me, I think Kathleen Kennedy has I think she must have a grudge against Lucas and Spielberg. She just must have a chip on her shoulder, and the people she hires, because they are actively ruining it. I mean, Star Wars as a property has declined in value. I've never seen anything like this before. Usually people that hurt a brand are fired. It's amazing. So anyway, that's even a more egregious example than anything Marvel's doing, but it's everybody, it's
Sarah,
everywhere.
What's your default? What would you like Spider-Man to do? You want him to age up a little bit?
Yeah, I want him to age up a little bit. I really want him to be a teacher. I really liked in the comics when he was teaching science.
Yeah.
I obviously want MJ and him to be back together. None of this. What is his name? Paul. Like I've tried to block it out of my mind because I just don't want it to happen. So whatever his name is. So
it's Paul.
Things I would change. I do like the tombstone thing that's happening with the rose and the tombstone and Spider-Man. Yep. I really think that's a really great street level thing that we haven't seen in a while, because normally we see earth-shattering huge events that tie in all these other superheroes to get you to buy all these more books, and so that's what I would change.
I agree. All right, what else you got for us?
I assume you guys all have Spider-Man stuff. So what is your favorite Spider-Man thing that you own? Or Spider-Man villain or whatever.
I like my underoos over there. I like my toilet paper, which is up there. At this point, I think I told you when we were on the show, I'm collecting the weird. So I like those. Oh, we have a visitor. Hold on. Hold it up, George. Hold up your friend. There you go. His Stegron figure. I need to buy that too. They've never made one since the 90s when that came out. I need to buy that. JR, what's your pride and joy? What do you got?
Oh, wow. I've always been I was a fan of those. I've always been a fan of the Mego famous figures with cloth costumes. Yeah. I love cloth costumes. I'm kind of fond of my Tobey Maguire, Willem Dafoe from the 2002 movie. But cool. Honest to God, I wish. I don't know if it's a licensing issue or a cost issue, but it's like there should be like a threesome Funko pack with Tom, Toby, and Andrew, you know,
and there
should be Willem Dafoe and Alfred Molina and Jamie Foxx.
They're making a Willem Dafoe Hot Toys. It'll cost you like $500 though.
Yeah, I know, and that's in the old costume. I'd almost kind of like to see a. But it's like, are you leaving the money on the table, or is it just, it's just too expensive to license them, their faces and things. But boy, I'm always partial to the I wish I still had Amigo Spider-Man. I had one 100 years ago. I still wish I had one of those, but those are the ones I'm the most partial to.
And Amigo Goblin probably also.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, like I said, anything with a cloth costume.
Yeah. How about you, Sarah? What's your pride and joy?
That's a good question. I didn't think of an answer. Comic book wise, it's my ASM 31 that I have.
Oh yeah. The watch your mom got you.
The watch is really cool. I'm not wearing it right now, but the watch is really cool.
When we were doing the broadcast, JR and George, Mom was in the chat, and she was like, "Show them the watch I got you for Christmas." I thought that was cute.
Yeah, my stepdad got me a Spider-Man watch and had it inscribed as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. Cool. Yeah. All right. Anything else, Sarah?
No, that's all I had for you guys. Thanks.
You're awesome.
Time.
You're awesome as usual.
You guys
all
are
right. Awesome. Talk to you soon.
All right. Bye, guys.
All right, we have 2 more in the chat, and then we're going to wrap it up at about the 2-hour mark because George the Burger is giving him the sleepies. I imagine.
In fairness, I was asleep before we started. I mean, I've been tired for a while now.
I got you. All right, we got Josh. What's going on, Josh? How are you, buddy?
Hey, Brad. Hey, JR. Hey, George.
Hey, Josh.
How you guys
doing?
From?
Refresh me, Josh. Where you from again?
Fresno, California.
California, and you've been visiting how long and listening?
We won't hold it against you.
JR, trust me, I'm not a fan of California either.
How long you been on the site and listening?
I first got involved in 2017 because of I was a fan of Spidey Kicks Butt.
Hey, thank you.
Pied Piper.
Which was funny because I usually disagreed with a lot of what JR said, but I still like reading their articles.
Look at him. He's shocked.
Yeah.
Someone on the internet disagreed. Oh, no. Don't put Josh on your list. He just disagreed with you.
But I thought you were a good writer, JR. I think you're a good writer.
Oh, you're back.
Okay. All right. You've almost wound up on here,
No,
to be honest, that really does not bother me in the slightest. The whole idea was to, I mean, the whole idea was just, I'm just putting it out there and people who had, could reasonably disagree with me, I didn't have a problem with.
Well, JR, a big reason, and I respect you so much is because you actually had the guts to say you didn't like Kraven's Last Hunt, which I think you're insane for saying that, but still, I respect you for saying it.
I understand his bit about Vermin, though.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I can understand Vermin not being a favorite of that story, but otherwise it's a classic.
He's the weakest aspect of the story, but I don't think he ruins it though, personally. But
yes,
So 2017, I was is when I got involved. You gave me you gave me the Overlooked Gems gig, Brad, which I love doing because Spider-Man has so many great underrated stories.
You're right.
And speaking of which, as we know, Amazing 900 is coming out soon,
right?
And I actually do want to do an article where I rank I rank every single Centennial issue of Spider-Man, not just Amazing but Spectacular and Web as well.
Go for it.
I think that'll be interesting because in fact, for my first question, and I'm curious, what do you guys all think is the best Centennial issue of Spider-Man? And not just Amazing, but like a Spectacular, Web, and all that. I still say Spectacular 200 with the death of Harry Osborn.
I know Brad's. Yeah, I know Brad's answer has asked either Brad or somebody from has asked this before. I think 200 Amazing is always a favorite of mine because that's Peter Spider-Man settling his oldest score.
No, I agree.
So that's always been a favorite of mine. A guilty pleasure is 800. with him, the long fight, but part of it, not because it's a great story, it has its issues, but it is kind of a balls to the wall story, but it's all the issue is all one story, no stupid backups, no anything. And it is, I mean, that's all it's about, is the fight between Peter
it's entertaining.
So
I am surprised you said 800, JR. I didn't see that one
it's
coming.
kind of a guilty pleasure. I mean, I didn't say it was a great story, but I kind of appreciated it for what it was.
For Dan Slott, it was better than it had any right to be.
Yeah, there you go. That's
Peter Parker 75 Spider-Man of what you often, the end of the Clone Saga, you've often said.
Yeah, but he was asking Centennial issues.
Yeah, oh, that's right.
200,
the hundreds. The hundreds.
Boy, I'm trying to think of the because I think Spectacular 100 I didn't like, because that was the Black Cat. That was when the Black Cat and he split.
Yeah,
and I just thought the lead up to, I mean, I think it was an inevitable end to their story, but the lead up to it and the reasons for it was all terribly executed.
I'm just trying to think of the Centennials. You got 100, you got the arms, 200 the burglar, 300 Venom, 400 Aunt May died. 500, doesn't he see Uncle Ben?
That's the Happy Birthday Spider-Man by J. Michael Straczynski.
Right. 600 Doc Ock is Superior. 700 is what?
700 is when he becomes Superior, but he is in 600.
Oh, what was 600? That was a slot.
He first finds out he's dying. He's dying, and he does that weird scheme where he puts the Octobots all over the city to do.
That's very.
That's such a forgettable issue. I'm trying to remember.
800 is the one JR described. Web 100 is the
spider
armor.
The only
I don't think Web got the 200. Spec 100 is the Black Cat. Spec 200 is what? That's Death of Harry. Spec, it got the 300, but I don't remember what it was.
That was Chip Zdarsky. That was when the whole story that the Spider-Man and the Marvel Universe are fighting the Tinkerer, and then at the end they go back in time. It was all just kind of a setup issue for the next arc. Wasn't very good.
And I can't think of another Spider-Man title that got to 100. So there's our choices.
Yeah,
mine is 200 and 300 is tied, in my opinion.
Okay, good answer. George, what did you say? What's your favorite Centennial issue?
I was agreeing with JR about 200. Yeah.
Amazing 200?
No, when
Spec
200.
Yeah, when Harry.
Good choice, George. That's a good one. My other question I want to ask you guys is, okay, putting aside like all the retcons and the changes later, what do you think was more disappointing? What was initially a more disappointing reveal? Ned Leeds as the Hobgoblin, or the Stacy twins as Kindred?
Well, I mean, can we count Ned Leeds as Hobgoblin? Ned Leeds was just dressed as Hobgoblin long enough to get murdered.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But like you guys read that as it was coming out, and so at the time, for a long time, that was the reveal, right?
Oh, I agree with you. That was, and then Peter David revealed that was supposed to be another fake out.
Yeah.
But then it became permanent. But you're absolutely right. Reading that story was like, what the blank?
Yeah, I'm going to go. Kindred was a bigger disappointment. I didn't mind Ned Leeds; it was okay. But the Kindred is two different people. I still don't understand what the hell Kindred is.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't think the writers do either.
Yeah,
or what Peter's sins were. I mean, I mean, in a way, it made sense that it would be Harry. To be honest, I mean, Kindred is multiple, so it made sense that Kindred would be Harry. And the two Osborn kids.
Yeah.
And it made sense that it would be led by Harry.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know what the hell that turned out.
The explanation made no sense.
And it made no sense.
No, and they did say what Peter's sins were.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a funny thing because I'm a younger reader, so by the time I was reading Spider-Man, I got having the Spider-Man, and when I read the Hobgoblin stuff, I knew the Ned Leeds reveal wasn't the end. I knew there was more later, so it didn't really bother me personally because I knew it was a fake out. But the Kindred thing, my best friend and I, who's also a big Spider-Man fan, Nick Spencer's run got him back into Spider-Man after he quit during Dan Slott's run and hadn't picked it up since.
I understand that.
and he was really into it. We were both really into it. We were loving the run. We were invested in the Kindred mystery. And then when we got to the ending, my friend said, "I'm dropping Spider-Man again."
I understand, man. I understand.
You have to also remember that I think Kindred was supposed to be Harry originally.
Oh, absolutely.
And that Marvel was the one that like said, "Oh no, how about the Stacy twins and let's get
I don't
rid
blame
of this
Spencer.
part." Yeah,
I don't blame Spencer because if you read that issue, if you read the entire run, especially after that issue takes such a far left turn, and where it just completely
it's a totally different voice of writing.
Yeah, it contradicts everything that came before.
It does.
Like, that's not what you were building up to. That's not what you set up. That's not what you said.
Yeah.
You have the whole shift away from Peter Parker's soul to suddenly Harry Parker. So
yes,
I forgot another Centennial Marvel Team Up 100 says Hornacek introduced Karma from the New Mutants. I forgot about that one. Yep.
Yeah. I remember that issue distinctly because I just remember when, like for example, when Straczynski started writing, and Moreland and Peter says, Spider-Man says, I've never been hit that hard before. Yeah. Marvel Team Up 100, Karma takes over Spider-Man's body. Because she's trying to get help. She's trying to, and so like Spider-Man hits Sue Storm, and then Reed goes after him. But then the Thing says, you'll think, basically the Thing says something and goes, when you wake up, boom, and he knocks Spider-Man out cold.
Yeah,
and I just like. So I always remember that issue because it's like, no. I would say that probably might rank number one.
Yeah.
That's an interesting choice.
Yeah.
Gary, I'm sorry, I want to interrupt again because I have a fourth villain for Gary and the Frozen. But it also ties into your disappointment, although it's not quite so much the reveal. It's just how a character was ruined. The Jackal. I loved the original Jackal mystery. Yes. I really liked that it was Miles Warren, somebody he had trusted all this time.
Yeah.
But every time they bought the Jackal back, I never believed that was Miles Warren.
No,
that was the thing. None of the stories have been any good. And it's why I didn't like the Slott's ending of his superior, because I never believed that Goblin was Norman Osborn. So Gary, there's your fourth villain, but I'd forgotten him because he's been
ruined so often.
He has been. I love the 70s Clone Saga by Jerry Conway, and the Jackal should have stayed dead after that story. There's no reason to bring him back.
Right.
Yeah. All right, Josh. Anything else for us?
Yes, I do. Okay. I'll try and go quickly. I have a few. Yep. I'll try to get to them quickly. All right, George. Before you fall asleep on me, I do want to ask you. So you've dropped the books, and and I don't blame you because the stuff with Kindred was infuriating. Like that was one of the few times I've actually gotten mad reading a comic. But so I'm curious, George, is there anything at all that could ever make you read Spider-Man again, or you think you're done forever? You and Spidey have parted ways permanently.
The things that could bring me back to Spider-Man are not things that Marvel will let happen.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm done. I'm done with the books.
Yeah. I don't blame you. I didn't read any of the Ben Reilly stuff.
It was all filler.
Yeah,
with the exception of one good Mary Jane Black Cat team up. That was it.
I didn't read any of that because I was pissed about Kindred, and I'm not a Ben Reilly guy, so I didn't care about that. I am reading the Zeb Wells run, and surprisingly so far, I am enjoying it, but I still think they're going to end up screwing it up.
I'm with you.
They're going to screw it up. And George, something else I wanted to ask you was, you said, I remember when Chip Zdarsky was writing Spectacular Spider-Man, you read the first two issues, that Ooze hated it and dropped it, right?
Yeah, it was the first one. I think whichever one had Howard the Duck in it, maybe.
Yeah.
And I was like, "This is garbage. I'm done. No more." Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm curious though because I'm sure you've heard people tell you that it got really good later, and Chip Zdarsky really it's like he listened to the feedback and stopped being so goofy. But you said you still don't have an interest in reading it. But I am curious though because you kept reading the Dan Slott run, which was far worse. I think you'd agree. But you refused to go back and read Zdarsky's Packer. I'm just curious why. Is it because it was the flagship title?
I read the one where the issue was where Jonah found out.
Oh yeah, what did you think of that issue?
I read that and liked it.
Okay.
And I've always said that like that would always be a great turn in the Spider-Man story, is for his greatest enemy in the press to suddenly realize, oh shit, Spider-Man's actually this kid I employed and have actually helped out throughout his life, and actually like that would be an interesting thing to tackle. So I did like that issue. I mean, I had the first issue I read been more like that one, I probably would have kept reading it. But after that first one, I was like, oh god damn, this is all this is a train wreck. I'm done.
So was it worse than Dan Slott's run? Those first two issues you read?
Well, I mean, it's Dan Slott. There's nothing worse than the Dan Slott book. But I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, like, I don't know. I don't know how I really explain that. I just didn't like either. I'm not gonna like a Dan Slott book, and I didn't like. Although I take that back. I mean, I did like the Superior stuff.
Yeah.
When I went back and read that, I was actually like, he writes Otto well. Otto's the character he identifies with, not Peter Parker.
Yes, I agree.
He's even said that before,
and it wouldn't surprise me. But I actually enjoyed those. And I think at the time I came back, it was when me and Bailey were on.
Yep.
And I even said, I was like, this is the strongest stuff that Dan Slott's done on this title. This is Superior, is writing for Otto.
Yeah.
But yeah, I couldn't really compare. I don't think Zdarsky and Slott. I mean, I hear good things about Zdarsky now. With Slott, I don't hear good things. I hear people say, "Oh shit, he's coming to my book next."
Yeah.
Yeah. I will say this, George. Like, I don't know if you're a Daredevil fan, but Zdarsky's Daredevil is spectacular.
It is very good.
I've heard good things. I'm glad people are
very good book.
I'm a big Daredevil fan, so I'm very happy with.
Me too.
Yeah. I'm just done. I'm not going to give Marvel any more money for publishing. I'll still go see movies and enjoy the movies, but I'm not giving them any more money for comics.
I don't blame you.
Yep.
JR, something I wanted to ask you. Okay. JR, something I wanted to ask you is, okay, as the resident Green Goblin fan, the biggest Green Goblin fan, what would you say is the single most vile and despicable thing Norman Osborn has ever done?
Have children.
Yeah,
I was about to.
It's not bang Gwen Stacy anymore.
That's true.
Thank God.
It's way too easy. It's just way too easy to say killing Gwen Stacy.
Yeah.
It's just, but it is. That is the Clone Saga in more ways than one.
Yeah.
Has because
Peter and the viewers or readers.
But and he really originally didn't do it. But I guess that's the one that. Boy, that touched probably the most people, affected the most people, was the Clone Saga. How many people's lives he messed with when he set that in motion. Wow. But see, it's like, the thing is, you want the villain to be bad. You want to hate him. It's kind of like
the villain has to win at times.
Exactly.
If you're telling a compelling story, the villain has to win sometimes.
That's a fair. The Death of Gwen Stacy is my favorite comic of all time. So
that's probably the most despicable, where he just decided to say, you know what, I'm sick of effing with you. I'm going to kill somebody you love. I'm going to do that.
I'd also say. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I'd also say, because this is my headcanon, since Marvel never followed up on that, killing Peter Mary Jane's daughter during the Clone Saga, I know he technically kidnapped her, but technically she's dead because we never saw her again. So that's vile.
Yeah. Well, I've never believed. I don't believe Norman did that. Norman would not do that. In fact, I mentioned this before too, like because Jonathan did those like 40 episodes where he took the comics and recorded, had voices recorded, kind of like the 19, and I did Norman and the Green Goblin, and there was a line in the one where he did the Clone Saga that mentioned Norman killing, and I said no, I'm not going to read. I didn't mess with Jonathan's dialogue too much because I like Jonathan knew what to write. I mean, he knew how to write for me in the Green Goblin, but I said no, Norman wouldn't do that. Norman would not kill it. No.
Yeah.
But he would. I mean, come on, a potentially superpowered child You're not going to destroy that asset. You're going to make everybody think she was dead.
That's
You're going to
true.
raise it as your own, like the Zorro thing. You know,
in fact, I'd say wouldn't Sins Past have been a better storyline if the people who attacked Peter, you know, if the child who attacked Peter was actually Peter's and Mary Jane's own child, but like maybe Norman aged it up, like with experiment,
or even alternate reality, maybe,
or maybe she's just not even aged up. Maybe she's just like a tiny badass.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Like in Kick-Ass.
Like or like in
Peter's not gonna hit a kid, especially his own.
Or like in like in Batman with Batgirl, back when Batgirl was not Barbara anymore. She was Kick-Ass character that I can't remember now.
Oracle?
No. It was
Kane?
Cassandra Cain?
Yes.
Okay.
When it was Cassandra Cain. Dude, that book was badass when Cassandra Cain was Batman.
Cassandra Cain's a cool character.
Yeah.
I like though that issue. I don't know if you ever read that issue, Jordan, where the Joker beats the crap out of her in a fight because she can't read his body language because it's too erratic and crazy.
Yeah.
I thought that was the artwork wasn't good in that comic, but the story was really cool. How she could barely defeat the Joker because his body language was too erratic for her to read.
Yeah, I loved her Batgirl. I really did. It was very well
cool.
done.
Like she was one of the highlights of the No Man's Land crossover.
Yeah,
that was a great story. Like I'm sorry, big Batman fan too.
So yeah, if you were to like make do that with Spidey, just have it be a little girl that can just also beat ass.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, that is good.
All right, Josh. Hey, real quick, anything else?
Yes. Yes.
Real quick.
Sorry, I'll be quick. Brad. I've actually gotten into the Hulk recently. I've read a lot of Hulk.
Had time to get into the Hulk, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I stopped after Immortal Hulk. Because Immortal Hulk was really good. But what do you think are like real quick, Brad? Like what who do you think are some of the best Hulk writers?
Peter David. I thought Paul Jenkins did a great job.
Yes.
Bill Mantlo.
Bill Mantlo was awesome.
Bill Mantlo's really high up there.
Yeah. Greg Pak?
I think that's my top three. I wasn't really a fan of who took it over after Jenkins? In the early 2000s. Bruce Jones. I wasn't a fan of his.
Yeah, that was weird.
Jason Aaron, I wasn't a fan of. I didn't like Mark Waid's Hulk.
Yeah,
I did like Immortal Hulk to an extent. Ewing's. I didn't like his really trippy issues like issue 25.
Yeah,
that was just crazy. But for the most part, I like his recent Hulk. The absolute worst run of Hulk in 60 years is the one that's coming out now, in my opinion. I think it's absolutely atrocious.
By Donny Cates.
Awful.
Wow.
And I like his Thor. I like his Thor, and I liked bits of his Venom. But the Hulk as an enterprise with Bruce Banner as the captain is the dumbest thing I think I've heard in a long time.
That is pretty bad. But I'm curious about it. How do you feel about, because no one ever talks about it. I thought it was real. It's one of my favorites. How do you feel about Steve Englehart's Hulk run back in the 70s?
Is that when he got that one kid who died of AIDS?
That's when Betty was first turned into the Harpy.
Oh yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
Man, I was hoping someone else really liked it because no one ever talks about that run. I think it's a really good run.
It's okay. It became during that era in Hulk. It was let's introduce a new villain each week or each episode, and it got kind of old a little bit in my opinion.
Yeah.
But
I feel.
I think when Mantlo took it over, it really started to sing, and him teaming up with Sal Buscema. Just peanut butter and chocolate.
Yeah, Crossroads is probably my favorite Hulk story that I've read.
Yeah, I like Crossroads a lot too.
Story.
Yep.
I was going to say we probably needed to get to the last caller because
George is falling asleep.
I've been in George's position before where it's just like, please end. Please end.
Here, real quick, if you want to see Josh's stuff, I've got it right here. Overlooked Gems. You go to the front page of the Crawlspace. Over here on the right, under the exclusive columns, right around here, click on Overlooked Gems. And the last one he did was looking at this one with The Scorpion Takes a Bride, which was a classic issue.
That is.
So that's where you can check out some of his stuff. So thanks for writing that, man.
I think we've covered. I think we've covered that one on both Fight Club and
We have
in his Spidey history. Yeah,
that's probably the best Scorpion story. I think
it's one of the best. I agree. All right, Josh, I appreciate it, man.
My pleasure. Great talking to all you guys.
Yeah, you too, buddy. All right. Someone we have not seen in a long time at the Crawlspace. Who George has a funny story of me and him late at night calling people, scaring the hell out of them because they hacked our website. We have Walter. What's going on, Walter? I haven't seen Walter in years. What's up, man?
Nothing much. Trying to stay awake.
That's what George is trying to do.
You and me both, dude.
I've been told to ask you a question.
By me?
What do you like on your veggie burger?
No, I didn't say that. What do you like on your burger, George?
Well, no, that's not what he said. Veggie burger.
Well, George is not eating a veggie burger. So
yeah,
we know
George would never eat a veggie burger. George only eats meat burgers. No, the burger I had earlier, what I normally get from Whataburger is a double meat with cheese, bacon, and mayonnaise only.
I can't tell you how much I miss Whataburger. The best burger and fries in the country.
Yeah,
I like
it.
They taste different in Texas than they do in Oklahoma.
You can have your Five Guys. You can have your In-N-Outs. Nothing beats Whataburger.
Hornacek says George likes meat on his veggie burger.
Yeah, there you go.
The correct answer is, what I like on my veggie burger, cow.
Cow. I like cow, yeah.
I like a lot of cow.
Refresh me where you're calling from.
I'm in South Carolina now.
South Carolina. And you've been on the site, I would say, 20 years.
Yeah, pretty much about the same time that you had hair, Brad.
I think you have to go back further than that, Walter.
Well, I 20 years ago I had hair. Just it was down the middle. Bleeding revolt.
JR's hair was black.
Well, actually, you do have to still have to go back 20 years, more than 20 years for that, because I started. I mean, I always tell my wife she turned me gray, but I started going gray in my early 20s.
Yeah, JR used to look like Henry Winkler.
Okay,
he used to hit jute boxes.
Do you want me to tell him the story about the site being hacked?
I don't know. What do you think, George?
I could do it really, really quick.
Okay, go ahead. The site has been hacked. I shine a light in the sky for my spider friends to help me. What happens, Walter?
Okay, we found what basically happened. Spider Dude's email got hacked by one of the members of the board. They got his password. They went on there and they're changing the titles of the categories on the web board.
Did he delete the main page too?
Yeah, I think he completely effed up that site.
Yeah, he did.
And I did a little investigation because just back then, when you send an email, you can find an IP address. So I took that IP address and his email address and found his first name, last name, his home address,
and his blood type.
I got hold of Brad, George, JR, basically the OG Crawlspace. And we called his mom and dad. He picked up the phone, and this is the one thing I remember very quick. Oh, please don't tell my mom. Please don't tell my mom. George goes, get your mother on the phone now.
It was like listening to Jack Webb take somebody down.
Dragnet is called.
Ma'am, you're aware that's a federal offense.
I think that's the proudest history of George's life because he made a kid wet his pants.
You can hear the kid like crying in the background. Yeah.
Mom gets on the phone and Brad and George explain the situation, and it's just like out of a movie saying, it's like, sounds like she was ready to take that phone and go right across his chops with it.
The kid's still grounded, I think. He's 25 years old, maybe.
And the best part of that is, as soon as, because I posted on the message board his name and address, and all the categories changed to I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. That's
okay.
I'll always be indebted to you, Walter, for finding our hacker. That was great.
That was a great moment. I don't really like to talk. It's just
it's a great story.
It's a great story, but boy, just the circumstances are just it's a painful one. It really is.
And that's why I back up the site daily now.
But I always remember George. It was just like listening to Jack Webb. It was, and you could just sense the mother's growing anger, because you always, we have way too many kids whose parents indulge them, and it was just such great to because I think it was like, she was starting to speak slower. Because she was getting mad, it wasn't like my little
from
angel.
A dead sleep too.
It was.
Oh yeah, you could tell she was woken up in the middle of the night. Yeah, it was
right.
It was it was crazy.
Well, real quick, I didn't know if you saw why I posted in chat. Because when I came across it while I was sitting here waiting in the room, they're making a Madam Web movie.
Yeah, they are. They started filming it today. Did you see it's set in the early 2000s. They've got 3Gs, advertising 3Gs on phones on top of taxis. They got the 2000 Beyonce movie on the wall. Yeah. Walter, you running out to go see that one?
Oh, yeah. I always run out to go see any Marvel product that comes out by Disney.
Oh, this is Sony, man. This is not Disney.
Sony.
Oh, which is even worse because I have to deal with Morbin time.
Morbin time.
So I heard a customer's kid say that, and I was like, "What the hell are you talking about?"
Are you still picking up the monthly issues, Walter? Have you long since dropped off?
I'm in the same category as George until basically I'll go back when Marvel gets new management.
Yeah.
Which is not going to happen. These people will continue to fail upward.
I think the only way Marvel will get. I honestly think the only way Marvel will get new management is when Disney decides to basically kill it and farm out third parties.
Like I don't think Rob Liefeld stuff.
I don't think we'll ever see the comics die, for example. But I think Disney and maybe even hopefully Discovery, says, why? No, we're not going to keep this in house. We're going to farm these out. We're going to let somebody else do it, and they'll pay us to do it, and it'll be pure profit for us. So I think that's the only way you're going to see any meaningful change.
Real quick, Hornet. Yes, I do rub my head like Marlon Brando and Apocalypse Now, because when you're my age. You're counting how many hairs you got left on your head.
Oh, just shave it, brother. What you probably do.
I don't want to bring the show down, and that's kind of one of the reasons why I want to do that. I didn't want to do this, but I don't know if I know you. Most of you follow me on Facebook, and you're probably aware I have stage 3 cancer.
Oh man, I'm so sorry.
Wow. It's 50-50. Things are looking good. But that's the kind of reason why I'm going back to my all haunts. I really want to tell you over the years how much Crawlspace has meant to me, even though I don't post on it. I can't figure out Discord for my life. I'm sorry. I'm too old to figure it out. But
just post in the comments on the articles on the front page. That's the same deal as like a message board. So
yeah, you guys meant a lot. You have a special place in my heart. I still remember the late night Skype sessions we used to have.
Yeah.
All showing Brad, even though he's a happily married family man, the She-Wolf video from Shakira, and hear him go, whoa.
Well, is there any other reaction but whoa to Shakira?
And the wonderful conversations that we had, a lot of good memories that pulled me through some dark times now.
Yeah.
So just want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you all.
And Walter, you keep fighting, man. And you are a friend, and I hope you call in and post and continue to be part of our community because we love you, man. And you fight it, all right?
Yeah, I will. Sorry, chat, if I brought you down and made you depressed, but I think positive. These people, they're funny as hell. And when they get going on a rip, you have a bad time. Just think about them. They'll give you a little smile and get you through your day.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Walter, I will say, I think I can speak for the other guys, that when people tell us, you got me through this, you helped me through this, honestly, there is no greater compliment. And thank you very much. I hate to hear that. I mean, I lost my father to cancer. Just like Brad said, keep fighting. And thank you very much. We appreciate that.
Cool.
Yeah. Thank you guys. Positive comments nowadays help a lot.
Positivity.
I don't want to cry on your show, Brad.
Well, just think you're reading a slot book. That's all.
Yeah, I don't want to be suicidal either.
Oh,
Brad.
Jesus.
Yeah, here I got one more question, and
okay,
5 seconds for each of you. And this is the challenging question. I want you to name one good Dan Slott Spider-Man story.
Human Torch Mini.
Yeah, I think we all agree on that one. Yeah.
I did say I enjoyed a lot of his Superior Spider-Man when I went back and read
700. When he's right knock, it's not bad.
Yeah, Otto's really the only person he identifies with and understands on a fundamental level. Peter, not so much.
JR?
Yeah, the Human Torch issue of miniseries. I mean, that just every one of them he nailed. I mean, because he got the eras right, because like the first one was the kind of the Lee Ditko era, and one was the Black Cat era, and that was a great, and that's the one where he said this guy should write Spider-Man.
And
boy, be careful what you wish for.
Here, real quick, Walter, before you go, chat is wishing you well. You got Trevion saying get well. Soflo says keep fighting, Walter. Anthony says no worries, Walter, wishing you the best. Tevia says wish you well, man. And Gary in the Frozen wish you well. Milo says, oh man, I hope you get better, keep battling. So there you go. There's some Crawlspace love for you, buddy. So thanks for calling in. And Caleb, it's still coming in, Walter. There, Caleb says best wishes. There you go.
Thanks.
So, you're welcome, buddy.
Yeah. Screw you guys for making me cry.
Screw you too. No, I'm just kidding.
All right.
All right,
I
man.
Appreciate it. Thank
no
you,
problem.
Guys.
See you, buddy. Thank you for calling in, buddy.
Thanks.
And
get better,
Vinkman,
buddy.
real quick, Vinkman says, wish you well, Walter. You got one right on your way out the door. Thank you, Walter. See you, bud. Bye. Oh, man. That was great to talk to Walter. It's been several years, and we wish
it has been a while.
Been a long time.
It has
been a long time. Before I wrap it up, I want to thank everybody that called in. That was 2 hours and 40 minutes. What
I was about to say, why don't we let George go? Because people were asking questions during the show, and I just want to rattle off a few answers. And that's,
okay.
But I don't want to keep
George.
But I don't want to keep George up anymore.
I'll be asleep in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Goodbye.
Thank you for doing this, man.
Yeah. We'll talk to y'all later.
See you, bud.
Bye.
All right. I don't mean to drag it out, but I always not like it when like people will ask questions, but so we're not blowing you off, but don't send in any more.
No, they aren't calling in yet. I've got a couple things, but JR has answers to previous questions. Go, JR.
Yeah. Someone, first of all, Gary in the Frozen. Yes. Carrion. I hadn't remembered Carrion. I feel like it's almost a lazy because it's a clone of Miles Warren, but that was a great horror villain for Spider-Man because I never liked Morbius. Man-Wolf I thought was silly, but I thought Carrion was a great horror villain. So Gary, I owe you that. I owed you that's number 5. Somebody asked if I did what about Gary Conway's second run on later runs on Spider-Man? No, I did not like those very much at all. And as somebody asked, what about Betty Brant as far as bringing back girlfriends? Betty Brant is the typical old girlfriend. Best relegated to history. Gary in the Frozen. How did I get involved with Whip Studios? There was a period of time I was always doing a Norman impression, and he heard the Norman impression or the Goblin impression, and that's when he said, "Hey, I'm doing this. These comics. Will you do the Green Goblin for me?" And of course, I couldn't turn it down. No, I wasn't deliberately basing it on Defoe, but that was the only voice I could come up with that didn't sound like I was trying to act. Let's see here. I just want to make sure that I got everybody, because like I said, I don't want people to think we blow them off or whatever, but we just keep going. And, sometimes ultimately then Brad has to kick it off. So okay, that was it. I just wanted, like I said, I just want to make sure we do read these. We do appreciate these.
We do.
We just sometimes can't get to them. So
Oh, Walter refreshed us with Oscorn. That was one of my favorite.
Oh, yeah.
It's probably
Oscorn,
one of the first times you ever did a Norman Osborn.
Yeah, that was about the first time. Yeah.
Gary says, thanks for answering, JR. That means a lot. Milo says, your Norman voice is the one and only, JR.
I really don't like my Norman voice. I mean,
we do.
Well, no, I like the Green Goblin, but when I try to do Norman, I sound like me. And, you know, that's not how I envision Norman Osborn's talks, but come on, Norman, who can turn that down though? You know, because Jonathan said, well, maybe we'll get somebody else to do. No, I got to do the whole thing. I got to do both of them. But I never like because he just sounds like me.
That's funny. Another thing that we mentioned earlier in the show is about those Hobgoblin covers, and I've got them up, and I want to show JR and get his reaction on the show. Marvel just put these up, and if you click on them, they're dead links. They haven't sent a press release out about this stuff. Like, watch, I'll click on this link, and it goes to 404 not found. So they haven't released them, or someone working in their IT accidentally added these. So it looks like Spider-Man's holding a Hobgoblin mask here for issue 11. And
someone said that was the Goblin Queen, though. So
someone's saying that maybe Hobgoblin's working with the Goblin Queen.
Yeah.
So, and this is Spidey fighting the Hobgoblin on a Norman glider. So
that's a good cover. That's a good cover.
That's a really good cover. So anyway, thoughts on that, JR?
Oh, it's a good cover. I hope it's really Kingsley, and I hope he's back, and I hope no more faking me and somebody else. And
right. And this issue, number 9, is the follow-up to the Hellfire Gala in X-Men. So Wolverine and Spider-Man go and try to get Mary Jane's possessed body back. So no F's given on JR's part. Also, someone in chat asked us if we're going to review. Oh, nope. Hold on. Where did I get it? I'm going to have to remove this and put it back. If we're going to review the next issue, which is issue 5. And if I can find it, I just had it in a tab, and of course it went away right when I was about to pop it up on the screen. Where are you on my desktop? There you are. Okay, so let me put this here. And this is our next show. And you're in luck because it's tomorrow night. Saturday night, 8 o'clock. We've got the crew. JR and I will be back. I think we've got Peter. We got Kelly and Javi joining us, and Mike on the show. So we'll review only one issue that we're reviewing. I think 900 comes out at the end of the month. So I hope you can join us now tomorrow on that show. And you can hear JR hate it, me love it. So,
well, I'm not going to. Spoiler alert: I don't hate it, but it didn't end the way I had hoped.
So. Right. Trivia says, "Awesome. Why did Thwip Studios stop?"
You have to ask Jonathan. I think he just got tired of it. You know, he did. He told me on the Spider-Man. On the Spider-Man, he told the stories he wanted to tell. And then he started doing Fantastic Four. You know, but I think and like the thing with my articles, and to be honest, I have to tip my hat to Brad, because I don't know how Brad continues to do this, because if you to do the YouTube thing like Jonathan did, to do Spidey kicks butt, like, because I put a lot of thought and everything into it. I don't know how it just does. It takes a lot of time. It just takes a lot of time and a lot of effort.
It does.
You begin to realize, like I said, I stopped kind of when Spencer started getting older, because I said I'd rather be doing something with him than writing, to be honest. Yeah, it just takes a lot of time. So really, folks, we like to make fun of Brad for all good reasons, of course, because he's a terrible, he's a terribly flawed human being. But
this is the worst compliment ever. We'll get to the compliment.
But no, what he does is a Herculean effort, and so it should be appreciated. So, but yeah, I think he just wanted to do something else. It took a lot of time. He got his stories done, and let me go do something else. But you have to ask him. I have really no idea.
I can totally understand that. I think one of his last videos, he put something about why he's stopping, but I could just be making that up. Milo,
if you're not making any money from it, I mean, not that anybody goes into it to make money,
true,
but you just realize that that's a really time consuming hobby, and
it is.
You got to
Editing
do
a
other
podcast
things.
is about an hour plus to put it up. About half an hour to make a graphic. That graphic I just showed you for tomorrow's show takes about half an hour. Get the elements. So there's a lot of time involved with it. So thank you for your you went around the woods and finally got to the compliment, JR. So thank you for that. Thank you,
well,
Milo.
You've put up with me for 15 or more years. That says something. The only person who's put up with me more is my wife.
Yes, that's very true. Milo, speaking of paying the bills, thank you for the super chat. Thanks for the live stream. You mean so much to me. Thanks for having me. I appreciate you being on, man. That was awesome. Thank you for the super chat. Vinkman says he's looking forward to it. Gary says Brad's great. I don't know what the hell you're talking about, JR. So.
Hey, and something else I want to say that I really, because Milo reminded me of this. Milo and I'm sorry, folks, my memory is just bad with names or whatever. But maybe it was Joshua or somebody those who found the crawl space in 2021 and 2020 and 2017. That is that's great. That's and because it makes us feel like we're leaving I mean, the fact that we help you find Spider-Man and see why this character has always meant so much to us. And the fact that, this is it. New people can come into the hobby. They will come into the hobby, but it's got to be an organic thing. You can't go looking for the perfect customer, and you can't alienate us because we're the ones who help bring the new generation in. So,
we're
honestly, I think it's great.
And Picard and Riker,
I think it's great. It just really did me good too when when Milo said I think 2021 and somebody else said 2020, and that's just great. It's really great.
Milo had a question for me. Are you going to do another live stream after this one, Brad? Nope. 3 hours is good for me.
Yeah, we're about done.
Heads up, Milo, if you ever want to see what broadcasts are coming up, if you go to our Facebook page, over on the left-hand side, it'll say upcoming live videos. So it says tomorrow at 8 o'clock. So if you haven't liked our Facebook page, like that, get notifications. Also, since I'm pimping things, go to our Instagram also. We could use a few more fans on Instagram. Let me pull this up. Let me pull up the Crawlspace YouTube also. Let's see here. And you can see when the next broadcasts are coming. I'm going to pop this up on the screen. So there's our YouTube channel. If you scroll down here, upcoming live streams, if you scroll right down, that'll show you what is the next broadcast. And if you click notify me, you'll get like a little email. It says, hey, we're on the air. You can get that going. Also, if you haven't liked our Instagram, let me click on this. And there you go. There's our Instagram page. We got about 520 followers. Look, I've been advertising about the Q&A. It's coming up. I also give you some press release stuff that Marvel sends over. I give you heads up that podcasts are online. We just published. I got a new Funko Pop at my office. Check that out. Isn't that good looking?
That's a good one. That's a long overdue one.
I love that one. So yeah, official Crawlspace is our Instagram. You can add that. And Spider-Man Crawlspace is us on YouTube. And search Spider-Man Crawlspace on Facebook. That is generally where I put all the info of what's coming up at the site and how you can watch us. So real quick, let's see. Gary and the Frozen recently joined the Discord. So yes, I also posted in the Discord. I forgot about the Discord. That's George's baby. He started that up. Let's take a look and see what the Discord looks like. We talk about Discord a lot. Here is the Crawlspace Discord. Of course, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers are popping there. So right around here, there's a tag called podcast and website. For instance, I put live in 10 minutes. I also put, here's a link to the video, stuff like that. So multiple ways where you can see what's coming up. So I followed the Instagram for about a year now. So thank you, Milo. That's awesome. I only use Facebook for finding comics. Well, there you go. can't wait until tomorrow. So, all right, final thoughts, JR, on the live callers. We had good callers come in.
Good show, folks. Love talking to each and every one of you. And Walter, hang in there.
I agree. Thank you, everybody, for calling in. I like these. I like to hear from around the world, and that's what we did tonight. We heard from around the world. We'll be back tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. No, wait a minute, 8 o'clock Central. Get my damn times right. 8 o'clock Central for an
9 o'clock Eastern.
There you go. Thank you, everybody.